Welcome to my show. All right, so in regards to this video about two women talking about black men fetish or preference. Now, I guess they're talking about dating black men, and there are some people. So I came across another video. There are some people who think that being fetishized is a bad thing. I'm sure that there are black men who feels that it's a good thing. Um, it's good and bad. In my personal opinion, on a macro level, perhaps on a micro level, it's a good thing for an individual black man, but on a macro level, it's a terrible thing. And that's because being fetishized really triggers a whole bunch of defense mechanisms in our women and in their men that is just completely disruptive. Like Asian men have been here since the railroads in San Francisco, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and they've been pretty much everywhere. They've been to the South too, and you never really hear about them getting castrated for whistling at someone. You never really hear about that, and that's because they don't really look at them. White men don't really look at them as a threat, and they most certainly don't look at their stuff as a threat. That's why they don't castrate and lynch them, because they're like, oh yeah, he can whistle all he wants. She's never going over to him, and they can see the truth in that. So it really means this fetishization that you have, which is something that you're born with. You don't have control over who fetishizes you. It's something that you're born with no control over, which means that you inherit enemies of both black men and, or excuse me, black women and white men. You automatically inherit enemies that you might not necessarily want. Um, Black women being our enemies more so than our allies, which they have proven in the recent decades, has destroyed the entire community. And they are willing to allow it to be destroyed in order to soothe their comfort about the attraction that non-black women have for black men through fetishizations. They know that men from a destroyed community is less appealing than ones from functional communities. Therefore, dot dot dot. And they also, what's the word I'm looking for? They also, and this is a video game term, and correct me if I'm wrong because I read it, I never said it. They also nerf their sons. That's why you see these literacy stats and stuff like that. They also do that deliberately because they feel that a certain tier of black men, the Ben Carson types, the Robert Smith types, are just naturally going to find themselves in the company of a non-black woman. And to avoid that, they would sooner. There are far too many black women in our community that would rather see their sons broke with a black woman than wealthy with a non-black woman. Hit the like button. That single thought has caused mass destruction in the black community. Horrendous and terrible destruction. So on that macro level, yes, it is a problem. It's not a good thing to be fetishized. And then there's this whole you're not taking relationships seriously, meaning that you attract more women who are not relationship minded but short-term thinkers, and which is okay with your short if you're looking for short-term experiences. However, when you are looking for long-term experiences, you have to sift through all the short-term thinking women, and that can be a hassle at a certain stage in your life. Is it worse than not being noticed at all? No, it's not. However, that particular aspect can be a slight obstacle in that regard. but really just the hate that it garners from those two particular groups of people, more so the black women and the white men, at least now, is makes it almost not worth it. Hit the like button. So I'm going to share this video with you. But before I do that, let me read some of your comments. Okay. Prime VA says, what's funny is that people only label it a fetish when women find black men attractive. No one says anything when women are attracted to white men. This is true. So recently, and this depends on, if the person is watching it now or a year from now, recently there was a guy from Russia who went to Kenya and Ghana and just like ran through a bunch of women, and no one wanted to. They were saying all sorts of things, and no one wanted to admit that these women are fetishizing this guy, and for a very good reason, But they are fetishizing this guy. He actually led with his ethnicity in his pickup lines, which he recorded. I am from Russia. And that was pretty much it. And, panties drop, and that's that. I could see that working in a place where you are completely exotic. Like there's probably one Russian guy in those countries, in those two countries, and he was it. So I can definitely see how that would work for him. And he was dealing with very unattractive women. So I could definitely see that being a thing. Like, if you want to try something new, and hear something new, then why not? So, but yeah, you're right. No one really called it a fetish. Some of them even blamed black men, which was weird. But that's because we're actually playing fetish. What's odd is it's more women from Europe going to Kenya looking for men than there are men from Europe going to Kenya looking for women. So that should tell you something about the fetishization of black people and how it's not necessarily reversible. All right. And let's see. I don't think black men should feel shame for women being attracted to us. No, I don't think that they should feel ashamed of it, because like I say, it's something that you're born with. So you shouldn't feel ashamed of how someone feels about you, especially when it's something outside of your control. You also have to consider the fact that black men's IR rates went from 15% in 2021 to 22%. That's why I don't buy the whole fetishization narrative. How would whether they fetishize black men or not affect the marriage rate? I'm curious to know, especially in an upswing. Like, how would that? All right. We need to stop caring about what Keisha thinks about everything. Well, on an individual level, it is benign. However, and nor should it stop you from being in a relationship, because Keisha would rather see you single than see you with a white woman. And it's a very cruel thing that goes through her head, because she wants the men that she don't want to want her. So let's just say you have a guy, and what's his name? Who I think is probably one of the lamest characters on television ever. He was the guy on Girlfriends. It was Wilson or something like that. Anyway, he was the guy on Girlfriends, and none of the girlfriends on Girlfriends, it was four of them, showed him any interest. He was in a very real way in the friend zone of four of the women, one of whom he was in a relationship with, and she decided to stay celibate during the relationship, but not before and after the relationship with him, making him one of the lamest black characters ever written. And let's just say, well, somebody said his name is William. Okay, William. So for whatever reason, if William were to date a white woman, he would get flack from those women, which is sick. Like, don't you just want him to be happy? You've made it clear that you don't want him. You made it clear that you don't want them. So that's something that they do. It's really a twisted game that they play. I could tell you stories in my own personal existence, but I'm not going to go deep into that. All right. So all right. Someone said exactly to what. Yeah. Okay. You're talking about. I agree with it. That Russian dude went to Africa to smash a bunch of fours and belows. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I doubt that. Well, I'm pretty sure they have an entirely different definition of um, four in Russia. And also, given the circumstances, he has to be somewhere. Like, I mean, like, I think he would rather be anywhere but where he's from. So, but yeah, there was definitely some thing going on between their attraction to him. Well, if it was all fetish, they wouldn't want long-term commitment. The spike in marriage rate shows that the other women. Okay, I see that it's not just a sexual fetish. It's a greater one. I see what you're saying. Um, Keisha's not sweating, y'all. That is the cappiest thing I've heard today. Now, granted, I actually haven't left my home today, but yeah, I think that's the cappiest thing I ever heard today. That statement is the equivalent to someone saying that Trump's not sweating immigrants. Explain your logic on that one, because I don't want to label it as foolish, but right now I'm just going to leave it at cap. A video you're about to play. I don't understand the question. And I know that you mean you are in the place of your, but what about, I am going to play a video, yes. If you're asking, am I going to play a video, yes. All right. Black men are actually getting married to other races, not having interracial flings. Look at our marriage rates rising while Keisha's is dropping. Interesting. Okay. Hard to tell. Black women still make videos hating on black men with white women. Yeah, that's why I call that cap. I mean, they're making videos about it. There's songs about it. I mean, I don't think that a group of black women, especially if they're single past 30, has ever not talked about it. Like ever. When I was in elementary and junior high, teachers would randomly bring it up. So, true story. I was talking, and trust and believe, I only know this name because my dad would take me to A's games, and I would hear the name, and in reference, while I'm waiting for the guy with the ice cream, with the little cups of ice cream, to come by. And that was the only thing I look forward to in going to baseball games. I'm a nerd and not really into stuff like that. But my dad really wanted me to go. So the name was Ricky Henderson. And he was also known for stealing bases. And so like in T-ball and Little League and stuff, every kid wanted to do that because of him. And that name was mentioned in a classroom. And the teacher was like, yeah. And just because we were talking about a black male athlete, she just went on this tangent about, yeah, when they get that athlete money, they look for a girl that's light, bright, and all around yellow. Ma'am, we're kids. We're kids. Could you go back to the multiplication table, please? Like, what in the? So don't tell me that they don't think about they. I don't even know if Ricky. I don't even know who he married. Let me look that up. Hold on. Ricky Henderson married his high school sweetheart Pamela. So if it's his high school sweetheart, she's probably black because we tend to go, yeah, yeah, she was tripping on nothing. His he married his high school. It's this holy crap. So yes, they've been nuts about this for a very long time. What are you talking about? They're not thinking about bull. Yeah, that's cap of the day, brother. That you know, that's cap of the day. All right, let's see. All of the attractive women in Russia, he went to Africa to smash those. Well, I mean, let's not forget the WAR. Let's not forget that he probably had other reasons to go there. But I will say that I doubt that there is a country in Europe where he would have that success rate. Being exotic is a factor. And then there's the reputation of economic stability that precedes him when he goes. Now, from what I've heard about Kenya, most foreigners are going to most first or second world foreigners are going to get the same treatment, especially from fours and belows. So I don't think that what he's doing is anything spectacular. Um, what what is however, it's visible with him, and that's the key thing. It's one thing being wealthy, it's another thing being seen as wealthy. And no matter what he does, and no matter to prove otherwise, that's to the contrary, he's going to be seen as wealthy. We as American men, as Black American men, excuse me, would have to speak first. She did say, and I'm thinking about a very particular person when I'm saying this. We would actually have to speak first, and that would work against, or that would work for us. But and then we lose the factor of being seen together and having the bragging rights because women want the onlookers to think that she is a sugar baby and that she is that she is a prize because she's with a wealthy guy. But if you were to, depending on your skin complexion, if you were to walk down the street with a Kenyan girl or a Ghanaian girl, people would just think it's a regular African couple, depending on your physical appearance, unless there's something uniquely American about your physical appearance. So yeah, we probably have to do a little bit more to get similar results. You about to play a video? Yeah, I'm about to play a video. I don't think Black men are fetish like that unless maybe they exclude particular archetype or have a specific look. Well, yeah, I mean, attractive is attractive, and attractive is like its own ethnicity. Definitely. On a base level, absolutely, there is strong fetishization going on there because there isn't much else. Well, there's a number of reasons why I've come to that conclusion, but that I won't get into. But I will say, just on the surface, there isn't much else. There isn't much when you just take the race as a whole to attract a woman. Put it like this: they ain't coming for the money. A lot of Black men that date out, it's really hard for me to believe that they were fetishized. Seems like just regular vanilla couples who had a common connection. Yeah, I'm not saying it's all fetishization, but I'm saying that fetishization exists. Black women act like Black women haven't don't done athletes dirty. like at Fred Lane or Lorenz Wright situation. I don't know who those are, but I'm pretty sure it's, black women doing black guys dirty. Absolutely. Well, I think many of the black women, including my teacher, who wasn't very attractive, um, feel that if those athletes wasn't with these women, they would be with them. But see, here's the kicker, and I'm glad that I read what I read about Ricky Henderson marrying his high school sweetheart. Here's the kicker about that. Um, you all had a chance. You all had a chance. You could have, if you were sweeter in high school, then you would have Ricky Henderson. Yeah, you would have Ricky Henderson. You would have Steph Curried. But for y'all to just wait until he's, playing for the A's and something like that, and then just approach like, hey, look at me, I have a box. Like, no, that's, you lost your advantage, because now you put yourself in a category with all women who are coming at him at the same time. You had first right to refuse, and you refused. More fool you. Link to the video you're talking about. It's in the description box. What? You're impatient. I'm reading your comments. He couldn't do what he did in Kenya and Russia with Russian women. No, he couldn't, because he's not exotic there. Yeah, someone who grew up in the suburbs, that's how it usually goes. You meet organically and connect. Yeah. Black women act like only white women call police on us or put false allegations on us, but we know better. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I won't get into the details of that, but that is a very true statement. Most athletes are white women. Met those women young. I'll take your word for that. All right. It's not like those women know who's going to pro and who isn't. Well, yeah. Depends on what you mean by young. I do think that they would meet them in college, because if you are a black athlete, grew up in a black neighborhood, you probably wasn't dating the only white girl in class. But in college, that's when things change. And for whatever reason, while white girls tend to flock towards athletes, black girls tend to not flock towards anyone, because they play a long game and they lose. Meaning that black women either plays a game of first you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the penis. And Holly Berry is just now getting it at 50. Like, I mean, so they play that game to a fault. Nobody else plays like that. So, which leaves it open for athletes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then there's also like the direct gold digging black girls who they're not, if they do date like a star athlete in college, they're only doing that because they believe that he's going to go pro. If it ever becomes clear that he doesn't go pro, then they lose interest in him, which is contrast to the white women or the non-black women who will date a pro athlete in high school, and even if he don't go pro, she still has a 6'6" guy with a BBC that um, that has the discipline to go far in whatever field he does. It takes discipline to be on that level of athleticism. So yeah, black women are known for shooting down guys who are 6'6" with a six pack because he don't have six figures by 26. That's part of being stupid. Hit the like button. Answer to the title: yes, black men are a fetish. You you caring depends on your level of commitment to your body. Some guys want real love from women, and some don't care, and all they want is box. Okay. All right. Let's see. People never mention the athletes who don't make it pro and are still married to white women. Yeah, it's exactly. I mean, black women have extraordinarily high standards. Black men have extraordinarily low standards. So it's going to be a group of people that capitalize on that. Young equal middle school, high school, or both. Chris Goodwin met his wife in the eighth grade. Well, no, there's exceptions, but I mean, black people tend to live in the same community. Black women assume that those guys only start dating white women after they get drafted. Well, they probably like. I mean, they may or may not, but the point is that you missed your opportunity. You missed your Aisha Curry opportunity. That's more fool you. All right, so we're about to get into this because people asking like, "You're gonna play the video? You're gonna dang, dude." All right, so let me get into this first. Let me close this out. I haven't seen this video. I've seen like a minute and 30 seconds of it, so watching it fresh with you all.
Growth there.
Okay, so me. Move past.
Which is kind of a point of tension in Wicked. It is kind of the underlying kind of story with that. But anyway, yes, because you've never seen it.
I've never seen it. I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, wow,
She doesn't
cool.
know. Yeah, so we'll get because she's green.
Oh, so it's like a metaphor.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
Okay.
But we were supposed to, we talk. It's just like updates on your dating life, and then we just talked about interracial dating. Sorry. It's getting worse. Breaking news to break that to you. But fuck ice, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Growth therapy.
We are wicked.
Oh, yes.
Popular.
Gotta be popular.
I understand that. But you're right. I think that you've grown so much with Broke Girl and that it's different. It's never been the same alliteration. It's never been the same version. You've grown with it, which is like why it's so fun to like be part of it now and then also like watch you and like it's always becoming something new. And now you're right. This is like the ending of one chapter and like the beginning of another because like you've said, we were talking about it off air, like the whole idea of relationship, sex, and love is like now you're going to be entering this amazing phase with your like fiance, your husband.
I know it's weird to say fiance.
It's
like
crazy.
I'm still getting used to it. Yeah,
dude. I mean, like when you asked me.
Okay, so she's getting married.
When you asked me to,
you asked me to be the bride,
and I cried.
Oh, I know you did. I was like, oh my god. I mean, everyone cried, but it was like I knew it was a sweet thing, but I was still taken back that you guys were like so honored to do it. Like that was huge for me.
Because I think it's just like oh my god, I'm gonna cry again. I just think it's just such a beautiful thing. And like when I saw it, like the top where it said Grace Wedding, and I was like, oh my god, my friend's getting married. Like it just got me so.
Rose.
I
know. Okay, I didn't know it was gonna be this much like babble. They have a title, and now it's just like banter. I'm happy that. Okay, I want to start off by saying this. Neither of these women are physically my type. They're not trying. Maybe if they did, things would be different, but I doubt it. They're just not physically my type. I don't know if I'm going to agree with what they're going to say because I don't know what they're going to say. But I do think that that is a factor that has to be considered, and really that's why I clicked this video to watch it with you all, because when you normally hear something about this, and this is a plus or a minus, it's typically like a well above average looking woman, like Soraya. She's very well above average looking for her age, who is just, you know, explaining her lustful desires, which turns into long-term companionship. So I want to get the point of view of women. Well, here's what I'm really looking for. Is it that we have low standards? That's what it comes down to. And that's why I clicked this video. I want to see if part of the allure is that within the Black community is the only place where you'll find a man who is more handsome than you are pretty. So that's what I'm really getting at. That's what I'm really angling towards. And I hope that they answer within this conversation, within this video.
Oh, it was just okay. Get your tissues. Get your tissues.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna continue.
Go back. Tell the tears to go back.
Yeah.
But it was just like, I don't know. It just made me so like, because it is joyness to, I don't know. I think it's
For that. You know where you're saying?
I know,
I
I
didn't remember.
remember.
Oh, the last time you probably saw me fucking drunk. Remember when I did a going away party before I left for Oakland? I was wasted out of my mind.
Wait, what?
Right.
What?
I found you.
I so wasted.
Wait, she say Oakland? Okay.
You were
I
really
blacked-
drunk at
I
that.
blacked
Blacked out.
I blacked out. I was drunk.
Yes. Then I will say the
For
LA.
anyone
but-
who was there, and also who broke the sink because we didn't get our deposit back.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that was a thing.
Yeah.
That was so funny though. It was terrible that it happened, but it was just funny because I was like, of all the things to break, a sink?
A sink? How?
I don't know. Gentleman that at years ago, it feels almost a year ago now. We like met at a friend's birthday party. We hooked up a couple times. We were like trying to figure out like what it was. He said, "I love you." I said, "I love you back." It happened very quick, very fast. And then we realized we are not meant to be like physical. Like
Really?
we are not meant. It was literally
To be physical, was sex
like-
not good?
it wasn't that it was good. It was like, okay, so we joke. So we hooked up like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And I feel like we always joke that like there was 2 times for him and 2 times for me. Like we were both like testing out being like we are attracted to each other, but like we're
Right.
not like, we just like couldn't figure out what was
this
happening, but
yeah.
it wasn't like there was like a spark because there's like passion between like us hanging out and like we really like ride for each other, but it just wasn't bad sex, but it wasn't like great sex. You know what I
Right,
mean? It was just
right.
kind of like, okay, that was
Did the
sex.
thing, yeah.
We just did it. Okay, we just had sex. Okay, bye. And
All right, I'm gonna do a lot more skipping. These women are very annoying. I wonder if I'm ever that annoying to you all, because I do like go off topic and go into stories a lot. I don't really care. To be told, I don't really care.
so it wasn't like, but I wanted to hang out with him again and again and again. And so finally we just had this like deep kind of like, you know, I could keep joking about it, like my best friend's wedding, like conversation where I was like, what's really sad is like, I really care about you and I really like you. And I feel like I don't want to lose you. And he was like, I feel the same way. And I was like, okay, well, I've never done this, but like, do you want to be my friend. And he was like, yeah, I would really love to be your friend. And so he's become literally one of my closest friends. It's so
wow, to go
Mississippi.
from just like a
Okay.
with someone that I've been by it, but like now we like joke where I'm like, I literally
Oh,
like
they got
went
it
on a
broken down.
date
Cool.
and he was like,
Oh,
yeah, but like, is he my
Mississippi? Okay, so they went from Oakland to Mississippi.
yes, and it's taken its time.
I was gonna say, because you've had your moments of you know, like it was not a smooth ride, let me say.
No, it
I've
wasn't.
seen, you know,
You saw the sad parts. It was
I've
like
seen those moments, but like it's
people
good.
didn't like him for a while.
What?
So my friends did not like him for a while.
Yeah, we're just like, who is this guy? Mississippi?
Yeah, right.
That's even where you're really from.
Exactly. You
But
know,
it's not, right?
it's not.
Yeah.
But you know, but yeah. So it was very much. I just loved that. I loved being able to have this special bond with him, and then like be able to. And it wasn't a bumpy road because of that. And I think one of the main things that made it a very unbumpy road was this idea that he's never really been in love or like had like a serious relationship. So he also
What
was
the?
like,
I
well,
don't
this
care.
is the closest thing I've ever had to any of it.
Shut the fuck up.
Fingering in my
You're
Just droning on about love and if you don't get to the black dick and white pussy, shut the fuck up. Damn.
her version.
You'll never know.
Yes.
You'll never know. Yeah, you'll never know. Because it's like you were late. You know,
you'll never.
Now I'm picking this person.
Yeah.
So sorry, you'll never know.
So it was that, but it was
Yeah.
also me being like, sir, I don't think it's ever going to get to that point either. Like, I don't think he's going to like try to ruin my like weddings or my relationship or my wedding
Wait
at
till
all.
the wedding to ruin like. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I don't think.
Which I feel that's kind of like not realistic because it's like why.
Oh my God.
Wait till the wedding to try to ruin it. You should be ruining.
Now it's a burrito.
I'm gonna start watching these before I share it with y'all because this is banter, is what it is. Oh wait, let me see. Do men even have empathy? Okay, I'm gonna like do this a little bit.
Dumb.
They lack perspective and perception in a weird way. Like they're just so women. We like question everything.
Oh, our empathy is overpowering us.
Exactly.
90% of the time.
Yeah.
Like we're so sorry. Like it's a fucking chair.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? Why did I do that? You know.
Okay. Oh, let me see.
Him and my mom have the same birthday.
What if you guys end up together? Or what if the ending of my best friend's wedding is like he gets with the best friend?
I love.
Why is she talking about this friend with benefit or friend zone dude like ad nauseum? When I clicked this video, I was hoping that they was telling me that your moms have the same birthday. A bunch of okay, the reality of dating black. Hopefully this is what I was looking for. Dang! Took him 35 minutes to get on topic.
Black men were the ones that were approaching me.
See, and this is what I'm talking about. This is women that I don't find particularly too hot. And only black men are approaching them. And there's a number of reasons why we have become the slump busters, or the guys that marry the slump busters. And that's because one, the Steve Dean, Lucario types who tell you to go out and talk to 25 women a day, people generally don't see 25 attractive women per day. They just don't. So you will eventually find yourself talking to a lot of women that you're not attracted to. A lot. Considering that I haven't seen 5 today, that I would say I have to speak to. If I had a quota, I would have to talk to like 60-year-old women and stuff like that. If I just found myself in a situation on a Monday where I had to speak to 25 broads, So yes, I mean, so now she's getting somewhere. She's asking if the reason you're attracted to black men because they seem to be the only ones that's willing to smash you is a valid question, and that is the nitty gritty. That's why I clicked this video. All right, so let's get into it.
It's a weird cultural zeitgeist, and
Yeah.
it's hard to explain because you are bringing in race, right? Which is
Yep.
like such a difficult subject. But it is this idea where it's a cultural standard, and it's this idea. Look, I know that I don't, and I know exactly where to keep my hands and what to say and what not to say and when to listen.
Yes.
In return, I've gotten this amazing confidence, and it's truly because of that community.
Yeah.
So it's like so weird, but then I feel like, you know,
like you want to embrace it.
Lucario, I got this amazing confidence, and it's because of this community. We are giving these bras confidence. That's why our women are overconfident, and other women come to us for confidence because they know we will smash anything. Like, oh, I feel so confident. All the other races of men treat me like crap, but here I'm beautiful. And what's this whole renting I don't own? Like, I mean, man.
And you want to be essentially part of it without having to exploit it or to disrespect it in any way.
There's a thin line between cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation.
Right.
And it is thin, but it's neon.
Do people ever like call you out? I guess we've never talked about this on the pod because I mean, we've talked about interracial dating, but I don't think we've talked about it because we essentially, you're a white woman that most of the time dates black men.
Yeah.
And I obviously am with a black man.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever called you out on maybe like,
for sure,
like, why are you dipping in this?
Oh,
you know?
Literally my entire high school. I actually had a very, very good male friend of mine, a guy friend, tell me once, this was like, I think we were like in our late 20s or something like that. And he was like, you know, what's and he's a black guy. He's also a comedian and a writer and stuff. And we were having this conversation. He goes, you know, what's even more difficult, Rose, is you're actually friends with their sisters. And that's harder because these girls are going to look at you being like, you know how hard it is for us to find black men. And yet you're still so, and he.
Okay. She's believing the bull crap. I thought that this was going to be like a higher brow conversation, especially if she's been dating black men for a while and she has been dealing with black men and women for a while. She should know better, which kind of tells me that I don't think either of them have ever been in a deep relationship. I mean, they've been in, you know, they had a black man deep in them, but they haven't been in a deep relationship with a black man. And nor are they really, really, really smart to come to any sort of intelligent conclusion. For example, an IQ person would say, wait a minute, your sister is saying that it's hard for a black woman to find a man. Has your sister ever introduced you to any of her friends? That's the first thing you should ask your dude. Has your sister ever introduced you to any of her friends? That's the first question she should ask herself. Because that question would be, it would say, how serious were they looking? And there are a lot of black men in that situation. There are a lot of black men like William on Girlfriends who's just sitting there with a dry penis while 4 women complain that they can't find a man. They do that crap all the time. So for you to not be able to see that in your dealings with black men, it either tells me that, you know, these have been very surface level dealings. Like you haven't really dug into him in his situation. You just allow him to dig into you, or you just didn't even think to explore it. I mean, that's it. That's all. Like, I mean, anyone could say that, you know, like, oh no, we have trouble finding black men. And, you know, she she could say, well, you know, something was very easy for me. All I had to do was say yes when he approached me. She allowed and that's why the black women are letting her kick it with her, because they know that they can put her head or put a lot of weird propaganda in her head and she'll believe it. Oh no, black men don't approach me. They just approach the women that look like you. It's like, oh really, huh? Well, hey, you know, my boyfriend's friend, you know, he loves black girls. Maybe, oh no, I don't really want to deal with that brother. He's too Michael B. Jordan lame. He's too hood. He's not hood enough. I don't like him too tall. Like, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking that too, but I didn't want to like clown her because I didn't know what her stance is on things. But yeah, she does kind of look like pearly things.
He said that, and I was like, ooh, like it literally sent me back where I was like, oh fuck, I've never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
So he's like, you have it on a whole playing field than the girls that are like, I like you because my dad won't like you. You know what I mean? He's like, you came up in the different scope of things. So he's like, you've seen the plight. So you've heard the complaining. You've dealt with the pain. You've seen it firsthand as their friend. So you're coming at it from a very different angle because now you're still dating their cousin, brother, whatever, you know? And I'm like, ooh, fuck, I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
So
and have they ever gone mad at you for it?
My real friends have never gotten mad at me about it. There have been, I feel like, girls who, so one of my best friends from high school, Ethiopia, she was talking about how like when you're at like a party years ago and like in high school, there was this other girl in Franklin being like, Rose wishes she was black. And Ethiopia was like, she doesn't wish that she was anything. That's just who Rose is.
Right.
And I remember her telling me that and I got really embarrassed. And E was like, but that's the...
Okay, I want to thank y'all for the super chats. I'm going to read them now because they're rambling. You know, they pretty much said it's like skip through, but they pretty much said what I want to know on this subject matter. But here, let me read your super chats. I want to thank London. What's that? Dallas? I think that is. No, it's not Dallas, but it says there's a word for it. It's called slumming. Yes, and it's not. Well, elaborate, because who do you think is slumming? Okay. It's not slumming when you marry them. Let's be clear. And it's not slumming when you're doing it all the damn time. Like if 90% of the women that you approach is slums, then you are a slum buster. Like you that's just your life. Your whole everything is slums. You become institutionalized in the slums. You develop a taste for slums. You ever like meet somebody? I've never met anybody like this. I met people that have been in prison, but you ever meet somebody that's been in prison so long that they develop a taste for prison food? Actually, I take that back. I never met anybody that developed a taste for prison food, but I do notice that they have like a greater appreciation for ramen noodles than people that's been free their whole damn life, like myself. That's part of it. It's like, you know, you mistreat your penis and that becomes like the standard. But what's worse is we get that reputation. Yeah, you know, and then you got women like this that go around Oakland thinking that anyway. Okay, thanks for the 10, Dig Thug. It says, look, my girl is white and I have 4 sisters. I can tell you that the reason they never set me up with their friends is because black women secretly don't like each other like that. They really don't. Trust me. Okay. I have sisters as well. The reason why they never did, one was there's a huge age difference. So like for a large portion of adulthood, her and her friends were minors. A large portion of my adulthood, all of her friends were minors. And so there's that. for that one sister, and then the other, who we were much closer in age, when we were young, before she married and moved out of state, we she knew me well enough to know that I wasn't going to settle down anytime soon, and why would I? I'm a teenager. Um, and I knew that my friends were on the same thing. That, oh, by the way, it was mutual. I wouldn't introduce her to my friends. She was very attractive, so I wouldn't introduce her to my friends either, who were interested in her. And my friends knew, like, you're not going to do that with my sister. So it was kind of like a code going on between all of us. So yeah, there was a there, and I do believe that what you say is true. It wasn't necessarily true for the sister who we were close in age. However, it was true. It is true in the sense that we see the person's faults. Men and women, we see, like, I see my friends' faults. And I'm pretty sure that your sister's seen their friends' faults. And they don't want to be in the middle of that. I do think that that's something that, well, really, that's an indication that neither side takes relationships seriously at a young age. I think that's the ultimate fault that both men and women see in their friends, which is why we don't hook each other up. But no, very astute observation, Dick Thug, and thanks for the 10. All right. Let me get back to this.
Price you pay, Rose. What did you think? Like, you thought that you could act this way and like dress this way and not
get called out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She's like, what the fuck? The whole idea that, like, I've never had one. And a lot of times I feel like absolutely my vocabulary has definitely reflected in that. The way I like inflex on certain words, for sure. Absolutely. But it's, again, because of like where I was around most of my childhood and everything. It's like the same way that, like, I had an accent until someone told me, why do you talk funny? And I was like, no, I don't. And it got rid of my Irish accent. But
Okay. Had a feeling she was Irish. It's funny stuff like the black accent and stuff like that. Okay. You ever notice how if white girls were to assimilate, black girls would call it cultural appropriation, but if white guys were to assimilate, black women will call it the black wife effect? Ever notice that? Ever notice that? White guy be on some Malibu's Most Wanted stuff, and they just hold it as a point of honor, like that is the black girl effect or the black wife effect. But if a white girl were to do the whole dance with me thing, the Rachel Dolezal thing, it's like, oh, that's cultural appropriation. Cultural appropriation. Just saying.
I have been called out. I don't even know if it's called out. Someone has come to me and we've been able to have a great conversation.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be one of those people that's just like, nope, I've never. What? I don't do that. No, yeah, I've dated primarily black people. Sorry.
Right.
I can't
When
say
did you
otherwise.
realize that you were like attracted to black men? Because I know you talked about like the whole like beauty standard thing, but like when was that first time we realized?
Wait, what did they say about the beauty standard thing?
Because
I skipped a lot because for obvious reasons, but where did they talk about the beauty standard thing? Because I want to know if they clearly said black men have lower beauty standards, because we do. The crap is in the mud, Mississippi mud, which is the worst kind because you can eat it. So I'm curious.
it's a weird one. It's my hear me out cake
Okay,
kind of vibe
okay.
because it makes sense if you think about it.
Okay.
Simba from the Lion King.
Okay.
Voiced-
I get it. Yes.
Voiced by Jonathan
He
Dacor.
was not
Simba.
Marcus. It's not Marcus Houston. It's
But
him, the brother of Smart Guy.
Mine, Simba.
Hot.
There you go. But it's a white
Yeah.
voiced by Jonathan Taylor Thomas,
Yeah.
sung by a black guy. These are my two songs. Wait a second. I guess that. I was like, well, also, and he's a lion, so that's weird. Bestiality, but like Jonathan Taylor Thomas is hot.
It's also personality.
It's the personality.
It's really the person.
And that was the other thing is I feel like in elementary school, it was me and Brittany. We were the only white.
It does appear as if she wants to fuck underage lions. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm picking up from this conversation. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think, and I'm actually trying to defend. I'm trying to justify. I'm trying to like think of a way I can word this to where it don't seem like I'm thumping on her for wanting to fuck an underage lion. But like, ooh, it's the voice. Like, I never wanted to fuck a human being's voice. Melody Media got a great voice. I'm not saying she's not an attractive woman or anything like that. I'm saying like, any attraction I have was least due to her voice. So yeah, that's weird. Like if there's a person with a voice I like and she played like a fish, I'm not gonna say, ooh, I want some of that fish. Look, what? She was attracted to the voice of a lion and said, yeah, that's why I like black men. If you were attracted to the voice actor, which I can understand why, that's Tia and Tamara's little brother, light skinned dude. So, okay, you have a type, and this light skinned dude is your thing, but you wanted to smash the lion. And I tried to say something relatable because I don't want to make it seem weird. Like I was like, well, I want to smash Jessica Rabbit, but Jessica Rabbit is a human. Okay, I'll defend her. This is me defending the white woman. I wanted to smash the Twi'lek is the name of the species that Jabba the Hutt made dance on the leash. And then Jabba was pulling her. He's like, give me a kiss. And she's like, no. It was a black woman underneath the thing. And she was like, no. And then he fed her to the Rancor. Wanted to smash that. Wanted to smash what's her name? Zeldani, something like that. From Avatar. Like that blue chick. She can get it too. The orc from Warcraft, the half orc from Warcraft. She can get it too. Nah, I can't give that to her. These are bipeds. These are bipeds. These are like creatures that walk on two legs and have two arms. And even though some of them have a tail, nah, not a lion. You on some weird. Yep, can't back it. The hottest Disney princess is Jasmine, followed by Pocahontas, followed by Ariel. And she's third, but even then, I want her to have a vagina. Like a human one. I don't know what she had when she had like a fish bottom going on. I don't care what was down there at that point. But no, when she was an actual human. Yeah, Zoe Zeldani. Thank you. All right, let's continue.
Girls, of course I'm gonna have a crush on D'Angelo. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
D'An,
And like
yeah.
he was there, and he thought I was cute, and then we would hold hands in the back of the
You
bus.
grew up with it, yeah.
I grew up with it. I wrote a pilot about this recently about it's hard to explain, but like the introduction of whiteness.
Yeah.
What?
Me realizing that I was white wasn't a problem until someone else made it a problem. To me and my friends, like race didn't really matter. When you're black, you learn about it way faster, way quicker.
Right.
But then when you're a white person around a bunch of black kids and then someone gets called the N-word and you're like, why is that a big deal? And then your teacher has to pull you aside and explain it to you.
I don't know if she grew up in Oakland too, because she mentioned Oakland. I don't know if they were there visiting or something, but no, I really wasn't taught about it. And I really didn't think about it much as a child. And it could be because I didn't have to, because I didn't grow up like in a sundown town or something like that. But I really didn't think about it much. I actually had in elementary school, I actually had a shirt with a Confederate flag on it that I wore to school, and my parents didn't say nothing, and teachers didn't say nothing, and none of the other kids said anything. Like nobody cared. Now, to give y'all context, there was a show. It was in syndication, but I still watched it. I was watching reruns, called Dukes of Hazzard, and I don't really remember much of that show. Just like I don't remember much of the A-Team. But when you're a kid, there's just certain things that stick out to you and just like get in your imagination. And it was a couple of white boys who would just run up to a car and just jump in the window all the time, and then they would just like drive and not a wheelie, but what is it? They would drive and like get airtime and stuff and say, yeah, like, so you're a kid. That's like, oh wow, that's the coolest thing ever. You know, these guys just jump in the window of the car and drive away from the fat sheriff. Like, and the car had a Confederate flag on top of it. I don't know, and I didn't care what that was, but when I seen the shirt, you know, like Kmart or something, I'm like, hey, Dad, let me get that shirt. You know, it's the Dukes of Hazzard, and sure enough, it had the flag on it. That's how much we thought about it. I gave it no thought. I just like the shirt, and I just like that show. So I don't know. She's younger than me, of course. Maybe things are different, but nah, we wasn't really taught like that. Now it is clear when you're young. It is clear that there are significant cultural differences between Black people and white people, especially if you watch TV. And there are some things that you can easily envy about white culture. Once again, especially if you watch TV. One of those things that stands out in my mind is white kids never seem to have gotten whippings. You watch something like Brady Bunch, it's like, wow, they never get their ass whipped. Which is definitely not true, but you just get this like idealized vision of them because you're watching Growing Pains and you're watching Family Ties and you're watching these shows, and it's like, okay, you know. And then later you start to realize, you know, the Cosby kids never got their ass whipped either. So it is what it is. Let's see. Somebody said Ariel had a vagina when she was on land. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the one I was attracted to. I wasn't attracted to like the fish vagina. I was attracted to like when she was walking with two legs and a vagina between those two legs. That's what I was attracted to. That's what I say. Jasmine, Pocahontas, her, and then maybe that Beauty and the Beast bit, Beauty and the Beast chick who's a fucking gold digger. But yeah.
Which is exactly what happened to me.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
the first time I ever
You're like,
heard.
what do you mean? Everyone else is saying it.
Well,
but you're young. Obviously, you're like a child.
I have to say, there's an episode. My
Yeah.
sister called me and was like, Rose, you have to watch of Abbott Elementary, where the cold opening is the one white kid. Because Claire and I are watching the show being like, that's us.
Yeah.
The one white kid goes to the principal's office. They were like, he said the N-word. And the teacher was like, what? You Tracy Wallace, you Quentin Tarantino. And the teacher goes, nerd. He said nerd. That's the N-word. And Claire and I were laughing our asses off because we were like, oh my God, that was like always the fear, is like this idea where they would be like, are these little white girls going to say N-word? And we're like,
Right.
no, we've been told we're not supposed to. But the first time
I don't know if I was like in elementary or junior high when I was first called nerd. I will say that when I first was being called nerd, the evidence was indisputable. I knew exactly where I stood in that regard. I knew that I was smart in fields of math and science, which is what nerds gravitate towards, and I knew that I wasn't athletic. So, like, they didn't tell me any, like if I got offended, it was like short-lived, because it's like what can I say? Like, hey, wait a minute. I'm like, oh, well, actually, yeah, I pretty much check all the boxes. Like, so it was just that. But nobody was saying like, oh, that's the N-word or anything like that. That's weird.
heard that N-word was my two best friends, black girls, Juanita and Levita. They were twins. We were sitting at the bus stop, drunk. He was like a little N-word lover. And I was like, what? And immediately their reactions changed. And I was like, that's weird. We get on the bus, go to school. We get to school. They're acting weird. Our teacher, Miss Lamar, was like, what's wrong? And I was like, well, we were at the bus stop and this white man. And before I could finish the story, they finished it for me. And then Miss Lamar was like, who was a black Haitian woman, was like, okay, Rose, go over here. Juanita and Levita, go over here. I'm going to call your mom. Calls my mom, calls my dad. Well, my dad shows up. They were like, that's a word that you're not supposed to say. Has a lot of different power. It means something different to them. We'll explain it.
Okay. Homeless whites are very often on race stuff. And I get it. When you're homeless, you blame a lot of people, and you have to pick somebody who's your enemy, and you have to feel like somebody is beneath you. You know, there's a lot going on when you're homeless. So, especially if you're white homeless, which means that you burned a lot of opportunities, and that, you know, the assumed privilege overlooked you. I'll never forget, I was working at Burger King in San Francisco, and I'm working the register. A white homeless man came in, and, you know, if they got money, we serve them, homeless or not. Especially San Francisco has a lot of homeless there. And I hear on the intercom, my boss, he's like, get him out of here. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm first of all, that's something that I never want to do. That's something that I never want to do. When I worked at a gas station too, you know, people would complain like, you know, hey, there's a bunch of bums in the parking lot. Listen, if they not bother nobody, don't bother them. But he like, get them out of here. So I'm like, hey, you know, you got to go. And, you know, I was doing it in an apologetic way. And then he just started hitting me with a bunch of N-bombs. So pushed him down in the street, and, you know, and he scurried off. He did the homeless man runaway. Pissed me off, right? This was when nobody was in the store. So fast forward maybe a couple of days or a week, he come back in when the store is busy. He hustled us. He come back in when the store is busy with no N-bombs, knowing that I don't like him now, and I'm kicking him out on sight. So I do that, and then people feel sorry for him, and they start giving him bread. Hustle. Huh? Sorry, most whites homeless. When did I say that? What are you talking about? I never said that. Why you say shit? You got to explain that one to me, brother. You got to.
You get older. And I was like, okay. And then I just remember being like, well, why do I feel bad? I didn't say it, and it wasn't directed to me.
Right.
But
like you just knew something was wrong.
I just knew something was wrong, and it didn't feel right.
Right.
And like seeing my friends distraught, I was like,
guilt.
Yes. And that was like another layer of white guilt that I don't think people talk about. And then just being like, okay, I can kind of process this. I mean, I am in 4th grade. I barely know long division, and I'm also severely dyslexic. I don't know. So I'm like, okay, I can't process, but I just knew from that point on, just never say that word. And then being in high school, I go to my first high school party, and there was another white boy that was there. I think I've told this story before. He keeps saying the N-word, and there was these other black guys being like, fuck it. And they beat the shit out of him. Just jump this white boy. Me and him are the only white people at this party.
Yeah.
And the one black guy who's like done beating the guy up, he turns to me and he's like, so do you know this white boy? And I look around and I realize that all my friends have like stepped back. And I was like, not all white people know each other. And everyone started laughing, and I was like, great, I'm the funny white girl. I've fucking solidified my entire existence. I can go from
You're like,
okay. I never knew a white dude like that. But I believe this story. I believe this story. They do have a strange fascination with that word. Keep in mind, like when I was in the 4th grade, it was before NWA really popularized the word to where we didn't really say it amongst each other like that. So yeah, it wasn't even like, because we cursed when our parents weren't around, but that wasn't even like something we thought to even say like that.
like that's my blanket, my safety blanket.
That's my niche.
Yeah,
Comedy.
that's my niche.
I was like, literally, comedy will heal people.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just going to be funny. But I never, and I still don't understand white people's obsession with wanting to say that word and being like, it's fine if Mark Twain write it. When's the last time you fucking read a Mark Twain book, bitch? Like, and more importantly, name a Mark Twain book. Like,
right, I can't.
Exactly. Just
who is Mark Twain?
An author who used the N-word one too many fucking times. I can tell you that right now. That man was obsessed with it. He used it like a goddamn comma. And like, it just...
Maybe we didn't read Mark Twain for that reason, but I think that the kids who did read a clean version of it. But yeah, as I understand it, it just says it casually, and it's probably just like what the time was, like what the time the author lived and the time period that the author was writing about. Yeah, apparently Huck Finn was the one that just said it casually, like, I'm about to go pick up some berries from that nigga over there, like, or some crap like that. Like, so it is what it is.
It's like this very like weird thing, because I have been in situations where I know that, like, as a white woman who has dated primarily Black men and men of color, there is a responsibility that I hold and I continuously am aware of, that of my privilege and of everything that I can like step into, while simultaneously have this weird chip on my shoulder, because all my life I've wanted white men to fucking like me and look in my direction, and they don't like me because I'm too fucking loud, and because I dress like this, and because I talk like this, and then he literally said, because he went to high school with me, is this as good as the black dick you've got? And I was like, Are you fucking kidding me? That's what you fucking say to me, like in bed? And and also my rapist is a white man, so it's like I don't fucking have a good relationship with it. But like, fucking that dude, I was like,
I've gotten that not in that context.
Why did she bring that up? That's like a random thing to bring up, but also I will say that is a factor in the fetishization that a lot of women experience. I've seen it on. Help me out now. There's like this old white dude with a black female sidekick who has like long black hair, and his whole thing was it's kind of like Fresh and Fit, but he interviewed the women one at a time, and then they show their tits at the end of the show, and then that's pretty much the end of that. Help me out. He's like a real popular radio station guy. If he's still around or alive. This was a long time ago. One of the stories one of the women said was, this is a very attractive white woman, like many of the ones that appear on the show. Howard Stern, thank you. She said that she was molested by, I think, her uncle or something. She was Canadian. And since then, she only messed with black guys. And I could see that. I could definitely see that. I don't think that is right or fair. And I do think that for a black man, you're really getting something with baggage, even though it's to no fault of her own. I'm not faulting her for that, but there is trauma there that you have to deal with. And even though it expresses itself in a positive way in the beginning, perhaps down the line it is something that you might have to address. I'm going to put it like that. But I can see that from any race. If you are a girl interrupted from any race, you definitely don't want it. I can see why it would be difficult for you to have consensual sex with someone who in any way reminds you of your rapist. In fact, I think that's a reason why a lot of women are lesbian. Because they're obviously physically attracted to men, but they only get with women. I think that is part of it. I think that something happened during childhood and they just never want to be with a man, but they still are naturally heterosexual. So they go out and find these, like, buzz cut brolic bitches. One of these, what do you call it? Well, they find these studs. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you with a stud when I got a whole dick right here? But it wasn't a stud that traumatized her. It was somebody with a dick that traumatized her. So yeah, that's my theory. I don't know. All right. Dick Thug, appreciate you again, brother. It says, did you hear that? She said she had a responsibility to black men to respect them. What is black women's responsibility to white men? It seems like white women have more responsibility in their interracial relationship than black women. I do think that black women have a mandate and an obligation when they're with a white man, and that is to make this work or make this look good. They have a mandate to make it seem like, I can make relationships work. And the reason why it hasn't worked thus far is the fault of black men, not a fault of this, which means that they'll tolerate more. They'll adjust their standards tremendously. And anything that's bad that happens, they just pretend, they sweep it under the rug. Remember, what's that? Queen of Kings, that one chick, and she's with the big white dude with the bald head, and they have that mandate to make the relationship seem like more than what it is. First of all, they always make it seem like he make more money, which is what she's doing, but then you get them mad enough, and she just went on the internet, reamed this dude, and got him arrested. Like, And come to find out that she be on OnlyFans. This shit's crazy. So I'm coining a phrase right now. I tried to do it in somebody else's chat room, but it didn't really take because they didn't know what I was talking about. White beards. Spread this term. And remember, it came from me. I coined a lot of shit. And people don't give me my just due. Remember, it came from me. White beard. We all know what a beard is as it pertains to relationships. A beard is typically a homosexual who is with a person to appear heterosexual to others. That person would be your beard. A white beard is when a black woman gets with a white dude for the sake of appearance. So she don't appear to be a ratchet ass tramp bitch. So that's the term white beard. I'm coining it. And it's just ironic that homie had a beard or has a beard. But that's his white beard. She's hiding all of her ratchet shit behind this dude. But really, when you pull it back, it's like, wait, you still fucked up. And he's not tolerating you because of anything but you're funding their lifestyle. I mean, you're only. If I had to guess, I would say that she was an OnlyFans model and she's attractive enough, and she married one of her clients or subscribers or whatever you call those guys. And she's like, listen, I can make more money doing interracial content and making this perfect life of a black wife if I do this. I make more money that way than I would taking my clothes off. White men let black women get away with things that black men won't tolerate. These words are true. Indifference. Let's be clear about that. Indifference. Attractive women get away with more. That's just is what it is. White men only get with black women when they are significantly prettier than they are handsome. At which point he's letting an attractive woman get away with things that a black man wouldn't. I just read that most men under 25 have not even asked a woman out on a date. No wonder they're so damn angry. I did notice that. I haven't read that, but I've read other stats about the sexlessness in young men, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I also have members of my family who are young. Yeah, they are definitely there. I think that they are behaving because women just aren't responsive. They just aren't responsive. See, when I was 25, women would respond. If I were to ask a woman for a number and get the number, put it like this, there was a high enough percentage of women that if I spoke to them, I would put my penis in their mouth. So, which was enough of a motivation for me to do it. Because at that age, the world was in, or at least the country was in, a player culture, meaning that men played the field and women played with them. Women aren't playing with these guys anymore. They're trying to play the guys. They're not trying to play with them. So I don't blame a young man for not being as motivated to talk to these young women anymore. I don't. And another thing, No wonder why they're so damn angry. I don't think that they're angry, which I find bizarre. I don't think that they're actually angry. And I would have been if I were in their position at that age. I would have been very angry. But I think the reason why I would have been angry is because I would be the only one in that position. So I would feel singled out or something like that. But to be perfectly honest, I don't know why they're not that angry. But, they are very content and jacking off, which I'm happy that they're happy. All right. I'm not going to agree that white men allow black women to get away with things black men won't, because, hold on, the thing went up. Because black men are literally the most tolerant men on the planet Earth. We tolerate things. So when he says that they are going to let them get away with certain things that black men want, he's leaving out that they will not tolerate things that black men do. For example, they're not going to tolerate her getting fat as hell, or her being fat as hell initially. They're not going to tolerate, but there are certain things. And these things are really trivial in comparison, but yeah, I get your point. In my 20s, I was such a thought, and I was not even a womanizer. Okay. Not really womanizing if they're playing with you. They're giving them now basically are in the fuck it phase. Yeah, I think that's what the young men are in. Yeah. They're really feminized. I wouldn't say that they're angry. I wouldn't say that they're feminized. Racial beard is a better term. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because white beard has a double meaning. I'm not above correction. But if you do, have better shit. Don't try to don't say, oh, I got a better name for it, and the name be shit. Somebody invents a car and then say, yes, I'm going to call this a car. And then somebody like you come along and say, no, call it a metal horse. No. If you're gonna correct somebody, make it better shit. White beard. Damn it. Like older red pill and MGTOW dudes, some of them I see angry because they have enough experience with women to be scorned by them. Yeah, I see that. Black men tolerate disrespect when their single mothers raise them. Yeah, we are groomed to embrace disrespect and not look at ourselves as worthy of respect. I agree with that. I've seen white men get disrespected by black women too. Yeah. Was there a beauty gap there in those relationships? Divorced great, cheated on multiple times, settled for being single moms, and regretted LOL. So there are situations. White guys are, some of them are masochistic. And what that means is that they are turned on by negative emotions in response. And when people think of it, they think of pain, and probably that's a technical definition, but there's also a degradation and a humiliation factor that can't be ignored. A lot of white guys who have this particular fetish really gravitate towards black women. many black women who are not sadists become dominatrix simply because white guys pay them to piss on them. So, and stuff like that. Some guys have that particular thing going on and in their head, and I don't knock a man's fetish. And when they do, I can see them, winding up with an overbearing black woman. I can see that perfectly. So I mean, that's why when he first said it, I'm like, yeah, it's like some guys are wake up in the morning and the bitch just slapping their face with a tampon, and he's like, "Thank you, madam." Like, so what am I to say? What am I to say to that? And black men, are a rarity in BDSM in general. So yeah, I get what you're saying. I think white men settle for black women when they can't pull everywhere, when they can't pull the same quality everywhere. I mean, like if Screech were to actually get with Lisa Turtle, I mean, but if there were equally attractive white woman that was into him, Oh, we got a term battle. Well, I don't know if it's a battle. I already coined the term. That's what it's gonna be. The Lamborghini booty rasa. What the hell? All right. Yeah, they do. They train. Yeah, black mothers train black sons to be with black. That's what I was saying in the beginning. When a black boy is born, the black women say, "Okay, how am I going to assure that he gets with a black woman?" Fuck his happiness. Like when white kids are born, they say he's going to be a CEO. And, when a white kid is born or when an Asian kid is born, it's like he's going to be a doctor. When a Latin kid is born, it's like he's going to own his own businesses. When a black kid is born, when a black boy is born, it's like, yeah, he's going to bring me a ratchet daughter-in-law one day. He's going to make a good simp to a ratchet daughter-in-law for me one day. That's what they say. That you were born with that in purpose. Just like nobility, when they're born a prince, they's like he's going to be, like when Simba was born, Mufasa was like he's going to be the king of Pride Rock one day. That's what it comes down to. Majority of black men are simps, except the illusion of fake leadership from women. At least most men in the red pill community are aware of what's happening. Yeah, that's why I participate in this. I don't like being part of a race of fucking simps. All right. Minister, well done. You beat the odds. Yep. Is it food? Oh damn, it's food time. All right, let me hurry up and get ready. I eat 1 meal a day. And that meal was supposed to have been eaten 13 minutes ago. So I gotta go. I gotta go pretty soon. But it says, everyone knows I have a mouth and it's my therapy. Okay. Facts. All right, let's see what else they have to say.
But because I've dated black men, I've gotten that word or like question or just that kind of attitude towards me because of it. And I also think because there's the masculinity pull, right? Of like Asian men, especially Filipino men or just Asian men in general is always just very like, it was always lower. It's just like, okay, Asian guys, small dick.
That's not true.
Right.
Yes, it is.
Hey,
Asians know how to fuck, let me tell you.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I'm not saying this to shit on them, but this is something that they would agree with. And this is particularly true from Filipino men. And because I've been to the Philippines, and gauging from their reaction to my dick would suggest that the women there aren't used to a larger penis. But furthermore, they don't sell large condoms. So this is them trying to be politically correct. But if you go to a country and you can't find a fucking Magnum anywhere, it's because the people there got little dicks. So, and once again, I'm not saying this to shit on them. They'll tell you. They'll tell you, like, yeah, we don't have a market. There's no market for large condoms there. Somebody says, so you were going raw? You don't have to be raw to what the hell? Oh, you're saying because there's no condom. I thought she was like, no, my bad. No. I had a 24 pack of mags. I had a 24 pack of mags that I bought. Somebody told me, because I went in like October or early November. Somebody told me to bring a lot of chocolate because the girls like chocolate, and to bring some magnums. But I wasn't always like, because I went from city to city when I was there. So sometimes I would leave my luggage in one hotel and then get another one and stuff like that. And I want to smash right now. So I'm like, all right, well, let's stop off at 7-Eleven. And because there's 7-Elevens everywhere, right quick. But they didn't have magnums ever. Filipinos have tiny coochies. Can even smash them, cry like in labor. I didn't get that response. There was a reaction to size, and one of them even asked that I put it in halfway. And I was like, bitch. Now, I didn't say it to her face. I said it through text message. What in the hell is that? That was a very, very, very fucked up question. She texted me like, next time, could you just put it halfway in? Bitch! I was like, she is out her fucking mind. She is out her gang plumb mind. That was just bonkers. This was the same bitch that said to me, because apparently, and I don't know this, I don't know that they have like different complexions of Filipinas, but we was in bed and she put her arm next to mine. She was like, look, we black and white. We black and white. And I was like, no, we more like black and yellow. You know, like that song, black and yellow, black and yellow. She was like, no, I'm white. She's like, American foreign men like white girls. And I said, well, why are they here? So I knew she was dense. Like, if they like white girls so much, then why are they in whatever fucking country they come from, where there's white girls? Bitch was slow as fuck. And then she hit me, and then later she hit me with the whole put it halfway in. What the fuck? If I don't like a bitch, when I was younger, I used to do shit like that. I used to try to put it in enough to where I enjoy it and she don't, because I didn't like the bitch. And I wanted to make the shit terrible. But to be asked that, fuck that. Fuck that. She was the only one. Only fucked her once. Fuck her. And then she was telling me how, how she felt like low and shit because she was not married to, but she was like in a relationship. She was 30, and that's old to them. She was in a long-term relationship with a white foreigner and he paid for everything, and she was just bragging about her lifestyle and shit like that, like prior to him leaving her. I guess he left her on her 30th birthday. It was I don't know what the fuck happened. But so the conversation was like it was like a fluctuation between I used to be that chick and 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 regret that she was left by it, but just the fact that she had the honor of being like some foreigners, European or something, or maybe Australian side piece. She was a kept woman for a time. That's the word I was looking for. She was a kept woman for a time. So yeah, that happened. It is white guys do be marrying these chicks, and black guys too. So it is smart for them to have that fantasy, but no, you gotta earn this. And the fuck, telling me to put it halfway in, you fucking bitch. And then she thinks she's white. Somebody said this is why white men hate black men. This story right here. Is that why? Shit, you learned something I didn't know. Somebody said a black dude flew halfway around the world to smash his Filipino chick. Who's Filipino chick? I guess. It was because he was white. Huh? It's because who was white? You talking about her ex? Listen, don't just go. Go to the Philippines. Y'all see what I'm talking about. They be on some weird there. The chicks are extremely submissive. Like more so than you'll find anywhere in Latin America. Are they hotter than the women in Latin America? Fuck no. Not even close. Not even close. However, as far as submission goes, they got those girls beat. Not only are they wifeable, they are eager to be wives. Eager. And the one who I spent the most time with there, she had a twin sister who was legally married to a white foreigner. And I met her, and she showed me pictures of her husband and stuff. And she would not mess with anybody. And it's a serious relationship. So, yeah. Anyway, enough of the tangent. What is this? What do you... Chaos, you gotta say stuff better. I don't know what you mean. You're cover this. What? Nothing beats a Brazilian, but I don't want the danger and looking over my shoulder all the damn time. I've been to Brazil. I didn't look over my shoulder. Now, granted, I went during Carnival. But you saying it's a dangerous place? Okay. All right. Here's the thing. So I'll go to Brazil and I look off the freeway and I see a bunch of brick buildings, like acres and acres and acres of brick buildings that look like abandoned factories and stuff. And then if you look close, like if you zoom in on your phone, you'll see that people live there and they have like blue bins on it. And I did say to myself, I was like, you know something? I think I would rather go to San Quentin than to go there. I think I would rather go to San Quentin than to go there. It does look like a place that, for one, you could easily get lost in because all the buildings look the same, and for two, you'll stick out, and for three, people are desperate for money. Yeah. So I remember thinking that, but I have been to like impoverished places in my travels, and I just don't have any money. So like, if someone just come from behind and hit me with the KO, and I wake up, I just wake up with like, they got me for $30. Like, I mean, I don't keep my pockets bulging there. Somebody say, you see the favelas from the freeway. Yeah. You've been to Brazil. You see the favelas from the freeway. When you come from the airport and you go to Rio, you see it like right there. They advertise they poor as shit, like right there. Now, I don't think that they was thinking that when they built the freeway, but yeah. I'm gonna say Brazil, you got to keep guard as compared to Asian countries, as they now using that knockout drug, scopolamine. Well, that's Colombia, but I don't drink. And last time I've been to Brazil, that was before South America really just started like scoping niggas. But what I want to say about that, and Asian people are smaller. They're a lot smaller. So they're a lot less physically, intimidating. A lot less.
They got that dang.
But you're like,
talented, very talented man. What about? I'm
I just feel like there was less and less Asian men started going for me because I think them knowing that I dated black men sometimes was this intimidation of, oh, I can't.
No, that's just foolish talk. Listen, I think that Asian men stopped dating me over time because they started knowing that I dated black men, and they stopped dating you because you gained weight over time, I'm sure. And that's the beginning and end of it. What in the fuck? Is it true that Asian women schedule their sex? Fuck no. Who in the hell told you that shit? Who in the hell told you that shit? You schedule their sex. What the fuck? I never even heard that stereotype. You schedule their sex. They asked for it. The one I was telling you about with the twin sister, she would always wake up before I woke up and ask for it. That's not scheduling. Yeah, I never heard that one, but the short answer is no. No, she pretty much give it to you whenever you want, and she'll ask you from time to time, even when you don't. That's Filipina in a nutshell. Unless she's one of those weird ass bitches that say only put half in, and you just be like, fuck that.
With that, not that they would ever say the black dick thing. It was always white guys. They'd be like, oh yeah, Steph likes that black dick. Yeah,
like,
black
why
dick.
Are you thinking about dick, dude?
Yeah, because right, I'm just like, just you're just like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Like, and again, why are you fucking a very beautiful,
Why do
amazing
you-
pussy and you're thinking of dick?
Why do you love them so much?
Go fuck one.
Right.
Go-
Your obsession, go fuck one.
It's just like, again, and it's that thing that happens sometimes when guys are obsessed with a girl's body count. Why do you want to think about every dick? Go fuck
Right.
a dick.
Go
Like,
fuck it.
It just
What the
makes no
hell?
sense to me. I don't care about how many vaginas you fucked because I only care about you, bro.
Right.
The reason why I ask about body count is because of my my health and my safety. Being
Yeah.
like, when's the last time you had an STD check? I don't need to know how many people you had sex with.
Right.
I just need to know how many times you've been checked since you've
Like
had
we
sex.
just need to know who we messing with.
That's it. But when
That's
it
it.
comes to this idea of like how many people you fucked, it's like, why do you want to think about the dicks I've been fucking?
Yeah.
That's so
It's
weird.
weird.
It's
It
so
is
weird.
such a
homie.
weird thing that I've noticed being someone who, dates outside my race and dating specifically Black men is like that comment. You grew up with the community. For me, like I grew up in Santa Clarita, and although there's like diversity,
Santa Clarita is not very Black at all.
they like to say, but like let's be real, there's not that many Black people.
Okay.
At least
Yeah.
in my high school that I went to, and again, white community.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was like almost like scandalous in a way that I was attracted to Black men. People always like to make that comment, again, going to like, oh, that's
Fascinating.
Steph, like she likes Black dick, or to be like, oh yeah, Steph loves Black men. And then as soon as they see a Black man, they're like, Steph, look, and they're like, go flirt with him or go. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? I'm not.
It's
weird.
It's so anytime that someone, it's like it's literally off the air. Jonathan,
Right.
Hey, Jonathan, our editor, we were talking about this, where it's like just because he's gay doesn't mean like he's going to be my type.
Right.
And it's like very much that idea where it's like just because I've dated Black men in the past doesn't mean that I'm going to.
They're all
every
my
Black man.
fucking type.
They're all
Right.
my fucking type.
Like I remember, like I always think about how these people that I used to be friends with, or whoever, or whatever, back.
Okay, they did ramble. Let me see what else they're talking about. Let me see the other stuff. All right, let me just go up a little further.
Not going to save me, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not gonna be the thing that fucking gets me when the world goes to the end. Like I need that world. Fuck off. They're upset because
Right.
for me, I'm like, no. Like I'm gonna be okay. I feel no shame being a white person at all. I am completely with it.
Right.
I just with the privileges and
Type say privileges. It's just a bunch of trigger words. This is annoying. All right, I put the link out there. That was bad YouTubing. All right. This is all members. I'm going to show y'all something, and I want y'all thoughts on this. All right, give me a second. Y'all hit the like button while I do this. Somebody said just oyster things. Uh-oh. Shay Sade got something to say. Let's see what Shay Sade has to say. Yeah, pretty much. She did say something like that. Like, I got so much confidence from these black men selling for. Yeah, exactly. Like, people go to the black community just to feel confident. Like, fat ugly bitches and like non-black chicks who get like made fun of um by Brad all the time. How many black men? Press one in the chat if you know a black man that will happily smash Meg Griffin. Happily smash Meg Griffin. Here, let me play this.
He told me that I'm overreacting and that this is a white people thing. And that I'm judging him through my own, the way mine, on how I was raised, not on what's medically necessary. Am I overreacting, or is it normal to use soap in the bathroom? Yeah. What? You understand now? Feel realistic. Honestly, I don't know if I'm
I don't
like, wait, before, okay, so she's starting out the conversation asking you.
Okay, here's the nitty gritty of that, because what it seems like she's doing is she's trying to create a negative stereotype about white men, I guess, for whatever strange reason, to make it seem like black women are cleaner and you should get with a black woman so she could teach you how to bathe or some shit like that. Listen, they invented this shit. Let's start there. Oh, it's Borgen. The video was anyway clear. The video was anyway. GC is clear. Okay, so thank you. Yeah, I'll work on that. But what I want to say, the soap thing. So for those of you who couldn't see because of the boarding, apparently the bitch with no hair is talking about trying to create this stereotype that white guys don't use soap. Then what the fuck did they invent it for? Like, did they invent it for what? Black people? Because it existed like during slavery. Was it just like a luxury that they gave to their slaves that they didn't use to their fucking self? Like, well, actually, it didn't. It wasn't invented during slavery. It was invented by a European colony that the Romans used to trade with. Because before that, Romans used to scrape their skin with like a dull blade to get the soot off, and they use olive oil to bring the soot up, and then they scrape the gunk off of them, and then they found a European tribe that made soap, and they traded with them until they got tired, and they just conquered the tribe and took their shit, they soap and shit. So I forget the name of the tribe. Y'all could look it up. That was a long ass time ago. For them to say that they don't use it. This bitch. Now, I have heard that they don't use washcloths. That they rub the soap on their person and then let the water use the rest. It wasn't Babylonians, because Babylonia isn't in Europe. No, it was somewhere north of Italy. Anyway, tell me if it works again.
context, she's a black woman dating a white man, and she also asked when she's being gaslit. I think I already know where this is going. I think I know this is going. So let's just be honest. There hygiene practices within different cultures. Like if you just study this historically, this is not a study this historically, this is true. A lot more conscientious about bathing, all those good for things. And honestly, I think this is cultural. Because then you think about where we came from, it's like, okay, if our ancestors, they were interested really 2-3 times a day. Like they had bathing rituals. They came from a culture that was very, very hygienic, or that was constantly bathing. And especially if you think about it, you come from a tropical environment. Like the few times I've been in Africa, I'm like, man, like, I could.
Very good point. I did notice that the people, I've never been in Africa, but I did notice that the people in like hot places, they do bathe a lot. They take very short showers, but they take them a lot, like throughout the day, like 5-6 times a day. Pretty much every time they leave the house and come back in. Making me feel like a nasty motherfucker for just doing it twice.
Humid. So when that is your cultural backdrop, even if it was been, hundreds of years removed, that's still passed on. Who teaches you how to wash? Who teaches you how to do your hair? Who teaches how to scrub? Like that's your mom, that's your grandma's, and where do they learn it from? So I do think like we've, just as far as from what I've observed, I just feel like we just, because that, I don't know, that's just culture. Let me just continue with the story. And my boyfriend is white. Does your boyfriend is so... This is the first white man I've ever dated, which is relevant because I keep wondering if I'm misunderstanding something cultural. Listen, y'all, there are...
Okay, she's just looking for something to talk about. She's just looking for something to talk about because, her fate is shorter than mine. She just wants a way to garner attention. She don't have that beautiful black mane that Shay Sade has. So she has to do catch stuff like, do they bathe soap? And I'm in an interracial relationship. See, I'm in an interracial relationship, shit like that. So this is just looking for attention. Fucking 2 inches of hair and nasty looking bitch. Man.
There are doctors out there, white. I need to add that for cultural context. There are scientific medical studies out there that will tell you that you shouldn't be bathing all the time. You shouldn't like use soap every single day. There was one study that just dropped not too long ago or something where it's talking about how you don't need to shower after you don't need to shower after you go to the gym. You can just change gym clothes. And the logic is like, you don't want to mess with the pH balance. You're not supposed to like scrub your body.
I don't think that applies to men. I don't think I've ever spent any time in my entire fucking life thinking about my pH balance.
A certain amounts of days. Like it gets really...
Hey, you want to know what else is strange about white people? They throw powder on themselves after they bathe. Like, what the fuck is that? They powder themselves like fucking babies. Like they get out the gym shower and throw powder on. Like, what the fuck? What is it? Is so they could be ashier? Like, what the fuck is that? Someone said something interesting. Overall, I think black men younger than millennials have better standards than black men older than them. Absolutely. I agree with that. I think black men with the lowest standards are Gen X mainly. I definitely agree with that. And that's because we pressure each other to fuck. I think Lucario is Gen X, and I know Steve Dedeen is, and I am. So, in addition to creating this player culture, it puts pressure on it. It puts pressure on the individual to actually fulfill the player culture. So every now and again, you got to check in with these niggas. Like, yeah, I smashed 7 this week, even though you smashed 4 and they all were 4s. Like, so yeah, it's ridiculous. But you're right. We do encourage to diminish standards. And somebody commented earlier, I think it was a super chat, where they were talking about the diminished standards of men under 25, or how they aren't really approaching like that. Well, if you have standards, you're not going to approach every day, because you don't see a worthy woman every day. You damn sure don't see 25 in a fucking day. By the way, and this is one that I did pre-schedule, so check it out. It's going to be Wednesday at 10 PST. I am going to cover my talk with Lucario and Miles Cunningham. So I'm definitely going to go over that and some of the flawed logic that they like to bring into the zeitgeist. But this comment is a very true thing. And I'm glad for it too. I'm glad that young men have standards. The talcum powder is to dry out before they get fungal infections. What the fuck? Why do you always get shit? Like lice and stuff like that? What? Yeah. Every girl at 10 with the lights off. No, it's not. So y'all seen Boomerang when Eddie Murphy was like, could you make it a little darker? When he was with what's her name? Not Cicely Tyson. What's her name? Eartha Kitt. Eartha Kitt, he was like, could you make it a little darker? Now, I will say this to the other person's point where he was saying that millennials or Gen X have lower standards. That's because we're older and the standards diminished over time. So because when they were young, brothers were on that Boomerang shit. We were a lot pickier. What happened over time was they wanted to continue what they were used to. They were used to smashing high quality and high quantity. And as the quality depreciated, they depreciated their standards to maintain to get the quality. But it wasn't like that when they were younger. Trust me, I was there.
Scientific. And I want you to know these are oftentimes coming from white hygienists. These are like white doctors who are sitting here telling you that you don't need to use soap all the time. Like, fine. We see that Europeans, they historical practice. I mean, honestly, even if you study it for in Europe, when they were first introduced with soap, they actually thought it was really a part of their cultural understanding until later on. But when it was first introduced to them, they were scared of it. And y'all know, like, if you studied like kind of early like European kings and queens and stuff, like those folks was bathing like once, twice a year. You know what I mean?
What she says is true. There was a queen that said, I bathe, and she boasted, I bathe once a month, whether I need to or not. Her words are true in that regard. I don't really know how much of an effect that has on modern white people thinking. I don't know. I haven't really been with a white woman that smelled unbathed or seemed unhygienic.
And other times they'll using perfumes and powders, and God only knows what was happening with the commoners, the poor folks. So I'm just saying they have their bathing practices, their hygienic practices culturally we're different than Black folks because we come from different places. And I'm like, I think sometimes you don't always necessarily understand how that can impact us in 2026, but it's just it's the little things that you don't even really consider until you hang with somebody. You're just like, wait, so you're not washing your hands because your pH balance? What the hell? You know what I mean? That stuff be happening.
My boyfriend does not regularly use soap when he showers. He says he rinses with water and that soap is optional unless you're visibly dirty.
Question. What are we doing?
How did you make it to adulthood?
I'm saying you rinse with water, but in cleaning. You just rub it around.
It's itchy just thinking about that.
You just smear it around.
It gets worse. He will sometimes use shampoo, but body soap is inconsistent at best. He
Hot water is enough. However, you know, if I were with someone like the lovely Miss Shay Sade, I'd use soap. But see, understand this. I have an extremely clean dick. Therefore, I don't really see this. My hands don't feel dirty after I touch my dick. It just don't. So yes, I run hot water on the shit, and that's to me that's perfectly fine. I have a very clean dick. The only thing I touched was my clean dick, and that's that. So that was this movie I watched in college, and it had Mike Tyson in it. It's called like Black or White or something like that. Black and White, something like that. It was about interracial relationships, where the white girls were into the black guys. And I was watching it, and there was some girls there, and there was a scene where the white girl was interested in this black dude. Y'all help me out if y'all seen the movie. And he went in the bathroom to take a piss, and she came in and she seduced him. And then they started fucking. And the black girls was like, ew, he didn't even wash his hands. I'm like, why you gotta wash his hands? She about to suck his dick. He gotta wash the hands that touch the dick that they gonna suck anyway. So it do be on some weird. The whole concept that I need soap to wash the dick off of my hands that you're gonna put in your damn mouth. What in the fuck? So yeah. Tell me if y'all seen the movie. Y'all know the scene I'm talking about.
Oh, that's how the pandemic spread. I'm telling you. That's how stuff be spreading. And listen to me, you even
what spread?
You even had.
Do they think we piss on our hands? They must think we just piss on our hands. Be happy. I run water on the motherfuckers. It's God damn it.
These entertainers or whatever talk about their bathing practices. Like I want to say Taylor Swift at one point said she doesn't wash her legs. I remember Travis Kelce, he did a podcast. He did a podcast with his brother, and he was like, "Oh, you don't use a wash rag." Like his brother was trying to shame him for using a wash rag. He was like, "We don't use wash rag. That's for poor folks." And I'm like, "So what? Using a wash rag is for poor?" So clearly, there are cultural differences in how people bathe. Clearly, that's what she's running into.
Somebody say you wash your hands before you touch your penis. Yeah, you should. Absolutely. And also, I mean, really the reason that I wash, and I do wash, and I do use soap often, but I don't feel obligated to do so. Like if I run out of soap, I don't feel an urgent need to go to the grocery store. The reason that I wash my hand at all after touching my dick is because I touched the toilet handle. That's really the only reason why I wash my hands at all. I know my dick is clean. What the fuck? What the hell? Now, granted, if I take a shit and I wipe my ass, just the fact that my hand is close to the shit air is enough of a means to give it a thorough washing. But no, I touch my dick. What the hell?
She obviously didn't know this.
What evidence do you have to support this claim? I don't understand. Pull out the magnifying glass, y'all. When I brought this up, he told me that I'm overreacting and that this is a white people thing. And that I'm judging him through my own cultural lens. He said growing up, his family didn't obsess over soap the way mine did, and that my expectations are based on how I was raised, not on what's medically necessary. What are you talking about?
I'm telling you, there are white doctors out there today who talk about how you're not supposed to bathe your baby all the time, because if you bathe the baby every day, the baby weakens the immune system, so they only recommend bathing the baby like once or twice a week.
I don't know. I'm not a woman. I never want to be a single dad. I don't know how often you're supposed to bathe the baby, and I don't know about immune system and all that stuff, and I don't know what temperature milk is supposed to be.
All right, GameChanger, can you hear me?
So yeah, I like all of that. Yeah. What's saying my chaos?
Yeah, I know that was for me because I was typing somewhat awkward because I'm moving around and I'm not reading when I'm typing. So if it did sound a little awkward, I do apologize. I tried to type quick and send out because I'm moving around. So I don't want to have the phone in my hand.
No worries.
So, but
no worries. So you want
in regards to it was the video you played with the two ladies. You just watched the full video, or it came on your timeline? That came across my timeline yesterday when I was looking for my feed. I saw that popped up. That video, particular video with the
it came across my timeline, and I watched it with y'all instead of watching it by myself.
Oh, so everybody watched it at the first time. You never seen it, you just showing it to everybody and going to give commentary.
Yeah, I've never seen it before.
Okay. So how old was that video? Because when it was released. I think it was released like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 6 days ago. That video.
I don't know.
Those two
ladies. Yeah, probably a couple days ago. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm about to look at that. All right, carry on. Because I'm actually in the middle of something, so I can't really get commentary.
Okay, bro. Do you think?
That's cool.
Okay.
All right, cool.
All right. Somebody said gotta put some wet wipes on that penis.
Use wash rags because that's gonna mess with the pH balance. Like there's literally all of this supposedly this medical science as to why you ain't supposed to wash and use soap. I don't understand it. I don't care how much science out there. I am using soap every single day. I am washing my hands with soap. I am washing my body. I'm washing my legs and my feet. There is no amount you can tell me, respectfully, especially when it comes to white folk, that's going to convince me to not use soap. Sorry, I'm just like I said, that will be a cultural difference that I will hang my hat on that.
He said different ethnic groups get dirtier at different rates, so he does not need soap.
What did he say?
You do. He said.
What did you say?
He said it.
Are you saying?
He said that. Are you saying? He said we get dirtier faster.
That is a lie.
Why are you with this? Wear it. This really threw me.
What's funny again when
Okay. I'm wondering if she's even has a boyfriend, and because this all sounds made up. Like it does sound like what a white man would say if a black woman was writing a script. I don't even see the truth in that, because I'm gonna take black out the equation, and I would say if he's saying that we get the dirtiest, who would be the second group? I can't even think of that. I can't say that people in certain places get dirtier quicker than people in other places. And that's for obvious reason. If it's scorching hot you're going to sweat more and you're going to, I know when I was visiting Texas, I was like, dang, I'm sweating already. Yeah.
Black men, they're like, no reach back. When they're like, no reach back, they're like, you get what you choose. You get what you choose. I mean,
I'm going to the grocery store that day, sir. No. Listen, when I say I'm talking about, there is a specific brand of liquid soap that I use to wash my hands. And it's not the end of the fucking world when I run out of it. But no, if I run out of body soap and stuff like that, that's a whole different thing.
say that every white person is like this.
And if I run out of hand soap, I have no problem using body soap on my hands. Why? Because my hands is a part of my body.
I can't say that. I can't say from what I've observed about even some of my different white friends. They have different bathing practices. They have different practices around hygiene. It's not important.
It's true.
And these like, you really okay, right? I'm taking notes. Who are very, very hygienic. I know there are white people out there who are also trying to justify why they shouldn't use soap regularly. I'm not white, so you won't have to talk to them about.
Black women look for opportunities to aggrandize themselves at the expense of other groups of people. So normally it's black men, but in this case it's white men. But they would get upset if somebody were to have a earnest conversation about how often they wash their hair. They will get, and I'm not talking about Shay Sade, they will get pissed if somebody were to ever bring that up. If somebody were to ever bring that up. You ask a black woman when was the last time she washed her hair, she'll be looking at the weather reports to see when it last rained. Like it's like a rare occurrence. It's a rare occurrence. But you're not supposed to talk about that. And then if you do, they like, the pH. The pH. It's because of the pH. It's because you strip the nutrients. Just saying. You want to talk shit? Just saying. So you still talking about Keisha? What the hell? Listen. Hit rewind. Don't just come in the middle of a conversation talking about, we just got finished talking about white boys and bathing and how clean my dick is. And then you just come in when the subject just drifts into that area talking about, you're talking about that. Damn it. Let me show y'all something. So it's probably because I don't have kids but living vicariously through parents. But I mean, let me show you. This one video was funny to me. I'm going to show you what it is. If I could find it, I've probably seen it a couple of days ago. Somebody said, "Don't talk about the hair player." Yeah, they're like, oh, they don't bathe, they don't, they could easily just bring that up. Like they use more soap on their hair than you do on your body. That's just saying. No, it wasn't this one. Hold on. Dang. All right, I'm going to go back another day. Somebody said they're not washing their hair for like 3 months when it's sold in. It's like, yeah. Yeah, it'd be like that. I mean, pretty much they have a hat sewed into their head. So, yeah, there isn't going to be washing. Like I say, when it rains, they say, oh, that counts as a wash. All right, maybe it's this day. Let me see. Hopefully this is it. Damn. Nope, it's not that day either. Hold on. Somebody saying, let's not bring up their box. I'm not going to. I am not going to. But that whole pH balance argument, I've heard that somewhere before, just saying. That whole overwashing affects the pH. I've heard that argument somewhere before. Just putting it out there. Damn it. All right, I'm going to check like 2 more days, and if it's not there, then... here it is. All right. I have to check my history through the shorts to find something, but I found it. Okay, so take a look at this.
Is where we start to see it kind of slowly like improving there. As long as you're able to breathe through that. You seem like you're so happy. Yeah.
Bruh.
And dry it off.
That one was funny. That one was funny. I'm going to watch that again. Now, no need to time out Choco Kitty.
Yeah.
This dude is trying to do one-arm push-ups in front of a bunch of girls. That's game. That's game. But we're going to talk about that Wednesday.
And dragged off down the hill. On the way home, McGee said to Dee, that trip wasn't quite.
I caught.
So when I seen that one, the little black boy putting his arm around a little white girl, and she smiles, right? I was thinking, like, there's no black little girls in that class, and if they were, they would be pissed. There's no 5-year-old little black girls in the class. If so, they would be pissed. Instead, you got a bunch of background kids that don't really care. Notice that? Look at the background. This kid really hates school already. He's sitting there like, this bitch in her ABCs. While he thinking like, yeah. White girl.
That trip wasn't quite.
I caught my daughter with the boy.
What are you doing?
What is all this?
Okay. So that was the one I want to show y'all with the little black kid and the little white girl. So let's see. Oh yeah, the teacher would be mad as well. The teacher would, if that wasn't a white teacher, and I could tell by the voice, that wasn't a white teacher, that was a black female teacher, she would have told them to sit apart. Or she would have talked to the boy's mama. Like, yes, have some concern about, about your son. Apparently he has developed an affinity for white girls. I think that we need to stop this young. I think that we need to do something about this now, or else it'll just get out of control by the time he reaches the NBA. Y'all talk about the kid with the one arm. Yeah, that shit was funny. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna show him. I'm gonna show him like I can do it one arm. Why y'all compliment? Those were not push-ups. Y'all don't know how to do push-ups. But nevertheless, he was doing something at that age. I will say that. Black teacher would have called the parents on him. Yeah, exactly. And she would have called the girl's father, hoping that they get together and lynch him. I don't know. But she probably was taking a picture for evidence. Like, she probably was like holding the camera for evidence. Like, yep, here's the proof. I think you need to have a talk with your daughter. Yes. But if there was another 5-year-old little black girl there, she would have stopped that immediately. I saw the investor video with them using black and white babies for their narrative. What? Okay. I guess that's what I just did, but it was in a comedic way. When they do shit, it's just nasty. All right. Do you remember those black moms who tried to get black boys expelled for having non-black girlfriends? No, I don't. Well, I shouldn't say I don't. Like, something's vaguely coming to mind. I do remember, like, it was a bunch of black women who went and complained to the school that the boys weren't hitting on their daughters, which I thought was weird as I don't know what. So I do remember something like that. I didn't know that they, for not having black girlfriends. That's. By the way, people look at you when you're stupid, but like you're stupid. Black women, when y'all do stuff like that, when y'all complain about not being socially accepted, which is something that you have the most control over, not the teachers, not the boss and stuff like that. It's a you thing. When that happens, they look at you like you're stupid. You can't force people to like you, so stop. You're sending a very bad message to your children, and other people's children just think you're nuts. It was a smelly girl. I was in the fourth grade, third, fourth grade. I think she was in my class like 2 years, and she smelled real bad. And I actually seen her later in high school, and that hasn't changed. So whatever she had going on in her life that made her that way didn't change in high school. She obviously suffered some type of trauma in a very young age that I don't know, but something was going on in her home. And when you're in the fourth grade, you're not really sympathetic about that because you don't really think that deep into it. But as an adult, you see that as a kid, and you say that there's obviously home problems for an adult to let their 8-year-old or 9-year-old go to school like that on a regular basis, and other kids are making fun. Something is definitely going on, like Daquan on The Wire. However, that didn't really change the way the kids felt about her, including myself. Now, I don't know if they still do this. I don't have any kids. However, on Valentine's Day or prior to Valentine's Day, what we would do is we would write. Our parents would take us to the store, to Kmart or something like that, and get like 32 cards of your favorite cartoon character. And they all had like little cheesy sayings on them. And the teacher would give you a printout of all of the students' names, the correct spelling of all of the students' name. And it was our job to write the names of the students on each card. And then when school happened, when Valentine's Day came around, or the day before, if it's on a weekend or something like that, when that happened, we would they put like a paper bag in front of the desk, in front of each of the desks, and the kids would go and put like a Valentine in each of the kids' thing. Now it's supposed to be like everybody gets one, but sometimes personal rivalries and things like that would stop a kid from getting a Valentine. Like, you sign like 32 Valentines, and you leave out a couple of kids like, I don't like that nigga. I got into a fight with him or something like that. For whatever reason. Generally speaking, the parents would enforce if you just deliberately left somebody out. If you deliberately left a kid out of the Valentine's Day pass around, the parents, my parents at least, would say, nah, you got to give that person a card. That being said, when birthday time came about, you didn't just invite everybody. Like and that's probably because the parents were paying for the shit. But you couldn't just invite everybody. You only invited you didn't invite the whole class. You invited the ones that you actually spent recess with, that you actually played with after school. You invited your closest friends, not just the people who just got assigned to the same fourth grade class as you. Now, why am I saying this? Because though this all-inclusive thing, it is a thing, it only works on certain levels of relationships. I'm going to repeat that. It only works on certain levels of relationships. So yes, you can be all inclusive on the level of everybody gets a Valentine's Day card. but you're not going to be all inclusive of everybody gets to share in my chocolate cake on my birthday. You're not going to be all inclusive on that shit. Up in the 4th grade, smelling like Badissi. Listen, okay, I had my jokes in the 4th grade. Here's the thing. At that age, it's not her fault. Now, later in high school, it became her fault, but it's not her fault. Something was going on. Like her parents, I think it's a combination of her not wiping and parental neglect. Like her clothes weren't washed. It's a combination of those things. So anyway, there's levels of acceptance that you can force upon your kids. But at the end of the day, whoever the kids choose to be closest to, you on some level have to respect that choice. You just do. So you're not going to, you may make your kid write a Valentine's Day card, like a cheap 1-cent Valentine's Day card that you give to everybody, and that you include that person. You may make your kid do that, but you can't make them bring them to the birthday party and come kick it with you and stuff like that. I remember my mom tried some shit like that, and it was like an extremely weird kid. My parents are divorced. So I would visit I was raised by my dad, but I would visit my mom on the weekends and stuff. And my mom was like, because all my friends were in the neighborhood of my dad's house. So she was like, I got another little boy for you to play with. I'm already pissed because every time my mom try to do something, it's always the most fucked up thing ever. Somebody said, bless her heart. Yeah, bless her heart, because my mom would try shit, and it's always just, well, not always, but most of the times, it's just really, really, really bad. She tried to buy me clothes, and the shit just be really, really, really fucking bad. But anyway, this was like the weirdest kid ever. And she just forced it. She like, y'all go to the park or something. I'm like, all right. Went to the park. It was some brothers there playing football. And they already knew him. They already knew him as being a weird ass nigga. And they avoided. So I'm like, God damn. This is just bad. Keep in mind that this is not like my primary neighborhood. This is where I go on the weekends and shit. That it is his primary neighborhood. So he already got the reputation. Anyway, to be decent, I didn't just like deny him company. But after my mom said, hey, I have a son you could play with, or whatever she said, because I was, she said this during the week or something. I have a son you could play, or something. Ever since then, he knew exactly when I was scheduled to be at my mom's house, and he would be up like, because remember, I'm at my mom's on the weekend. He'll be up like Saturday morning, first thing in the crack, knocking at the door, trying to kick it. So yes, my point is that stop forcing people on your kids. That's what winds up happening. And that's black women. Black women trying to force dick into your daughter's pussy is just, it's absurd. It's just absurd. Like, make her a likable person. And stop with the foolishness. Complaining to the school. You won't let them. I would be humiliated if my mom had to do something. Didn't Obsidian do it? Holy shit. Holy shit. This kid is Obsidian. The kid that nobody wanted to prom with and shit like that. So the mom had to go out and holy shit. Holy shit. So yeah. Yeah, mom's brought an Obsidian style nigga to the front door. Like damn. If you want me to kick it with kids outside, then send me to my pop's house because that's where my friends are. But yeah, it probably was. He probably did grow up to be like one of those no prom niggas that complain about it for 40 fucking years afterwards. I would not have any doubt. Call him free picks jumping. Huh? What's that? Elaborate on that. I don't know what that is. You talking about the kid? Oh, extremely weird kid. Oh, that's a sound like a random victim of a jumping. I don't know if he was jumped. I couldn't see anybody jumping him because he wasn't an asshole or anything like that. He wasn't, he was very nice. He just was. There isn't a reason that someone would jump him unless you like an asshole kid, and you probably get jumped yourself. Or like, why did you jump this dude? Like, he's harmless. That's the word I'm looking for. He was harmless. And I'm not even going to harp on the weird things because I was different, but I'm just going to say that he wasn't someone I would have chose to kick it with. That's the beginning and the end. And my mom actually, he was the only one that that she just seemed to have picked randomly. But my mom did have friends, and her friends of course had sons, and that was hit or miss. Some I enjoyed kicking it with, some I didn't, and I'm pretty sure y'all had those experiences. But he was like on a next level different, but in a very harmless way. You'd have to be like a jerk to jump him, and like I said, I could tell that no one was really kicking it with him like that. So, like he come knocking at the door. So what was gonna do? Pretend to not be home and shit. You have to get along with the weird kid, but they couldn't stay married. Yeah, I mean, stop trying to force people on your kids. That's my whole point. Stop trying to, and it's not racism if they're not like into you like that. Yeah, I can never imagine myself doing something like that to my son. Now, conversely, actually, let's have this discussion now. Did Obsidian's mom do anything wrong? The short answer to that is no. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, Obsidian's mom didn't do anything wrong. Um, yeah, I'm thinking on it, and because now, if it was my mom would be out of line. But okay, so here's, for those of you who don't know, here's the Obsidian story, his origin story, which is why he is what he is. So during prom time, during the senior prom, he asked 12 girls to go with him, each of whom said no. And, you know, he, of course, was upset about that. His mother seen his plight and decided to ask some young ladies that she know, probably her friends' daughters, or even like church girls. I don't know where she found these girls, but you know, she found 3 girls that agreed to go with him, and apparently they were homely, which says something considering what he's dating now. But apparently they were not to his physical requirements. So instead of for saying no, he balked, dropped out of high school, and ran away from home. And he complains about it to this day. But I don't really see much wrong with her doing that, provided that that was the most attractive girl that she had in her circle. Obsidian would be right to be upset. He did take it to an extreme, but he would have a right to be upset if there was like a prettier girl that the mom didn't ask. Because see, here's the thing. My mom had friends too, and most of their daughters were pretty. So if my mom were to pick 3 ugly girls, it means that she just didn't think I was worthy of of her friends' hotter daughters. I would be pissed. I would let my mom know immediately, like, what the, you know, why not her or her or her or her? Like, damn, mom, all your friends' daughters are pretty. What the fuck you do this? I would be pissed if that was the case. But if Obsidian's mom's friends just had daughters that just were not too hot, and she wanted you to go to prom, she really didn't do anything wrong. Like, what the fuck? Somebody said, how did he get his powers? Talking to himself and pretending like he was talking to a chick? Like, what the fuck I know? You guys have a great voice. Like, what is his powers? Like, you know, the ability to talk without showing that you're missing teeth. Like, what the fuck is his powers? I don't know. But I mean, that's what made him that. That's his whole Mr. Glass shit that he has going on. But yeah. So where was I going with that? Oh, was the mom wrong? No, I don't think the mom was wrong. And that's because I've been asked, and I didn't do it though because other things happened. But also like family members, like some of my more handsome cousins, were asked to proms of girls that they don't know. I don't know if that happened with any of my female cousins, but if it did, they would just go to be nice, you know, whether the guy is handsome or anything. Is, you know, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that people do, especially, you know, if the young person is handsome, or the young person is pretty. It's like, you know, okay, you know, this way he get to go to the prom with a pretty girl on his arm, or she gets to go to the prom with a handsome guy from a different school that nobody's seen, you know, on their arm. That's something that parents do. It's not offensive. It's not. That nigga just fucking ran amok. He just ran a fucking muck. He said he was bitten by a radioactive lame. Yeah, in the leg. It's like, what the fuck? Holy shit. Oh, they were setting you all up to on play dates. We didn't really have a term for it, but nah, it's my mom was just on some get out the house type stuff, but I'm thinking like this is the weekend. I spend it with you when you're in the house. Like, what the hell? Like, I'm out the house like when I'm over at my dad's house. You know, it's so, and it didn't help. Bringing him by didn't help. It was just somebody had to shake. Yeah, the Obsidian origin story. How did he get his powers? You got to feed him milk before you feed him meat. What are you saying? Yeah, I guess I'll spend like the next 4 minutes on Obsidian. Yeah, those, y'all know that Obsidian and I had a falling out years ago. That being said, I do think it's tragically sad what happened, like how he lost his channel over and over again. It's kind of humiliating for the whole manosphere, the Black manosphere, to be quite frank. But it was really some stuff that was said behind the scenes, and I was going to just like leave his company privately, but he decided to make it public, and that's that. But I think that what Obsidian's greatest issue is, and this is really what got him in the position that he's in now, is that he actually has a crush on a lot of the women that are in this space. And he expressed, and even the ones that are not in this space. And he expresses it through hostility. Now, when I say crush, I'm saying I don't think it's a romantic crush. I do think, well, it probably is. It definitely is a romantic crush, but it's not one that he is trying to pursue. He's not trying to get his Anton Daniels on with these chicks. However, he do yearn for positive attention and validation from these chicks, and he does it by starting off negative. You know, like first comes with the insults and stuff like that, and it's like, dude, this is not the playground. Obviously, you want romantic validation from these women. Obviously. So, and that's how things just like spiraled down. I was saying this to someone about his interaction with Danica Marie. Obsidian feels that his lack of appeal is due to his height. I think Danica's husband is of a similar height. So he sees their relationship and, you know, he's like, well, what does this guy have that I don't have? And then he just fucking goes nuts on Danica. It's like, what do you mean? What do he have that you don't have? Nigga, he has Danica. Get over it. So he wants that validation from Danica because she validated a shorter guy before, you know. So he does this weird tirade, and then y'all seen when he was with KNF's, how he was comparing pictures between himself and her husband. Like, what kind of shit is that? Who looks better in a suit? Like, that shit. It's like, can you be more obvious of your desire to fuck her and your weird way of approaching it? Same with Crystal and Kerosene. Basically, every time you see him go on these long tirades on individual bitches, oh, excuse me, because Danica Marie's in that category. But every time you see him go on these long tirades, it's how he gets attention from women that he's interested in. And unfortunately, it led him to this pass. It led him to, you know, this situation. It's like, okay, I mean, you know, because like with K and F, it became way deeper than the issues. Like, it became way, way, way deeper than I disagree with your feminist talking points. The high stuff is an excuse that incels use. Okay. I don't use incel as a pejorative because anytime someone is involuntarily anything, I can't really hold that against them. You know, like if a person is involuntarily blind or involuntarily crippled, like what was like, hi, you're blind. Like, no, if a person is involuntarily anything and their situation is not the sum of their decisions, I don't really hold that against them. However, I will say that I believe that he has been neglected by women for a large portion of his life, and I don't think that it has anything to do with his height. It doesn't have anything to do with his height at all. Because I know, like, shorter guys who slay. Whatever it does have something to do with, he believes that it's a height thing, and it could just be like a domino effect. Like, you know, when he was young, it may have been a height thing, and then he became insecure, and then later became an insecure thing, and then he became, you know, rebellious and combative, and then it became a combative thing, which all stemmed from his height initially. So his initial reaction to women not being attracted to, or to girls not being attracted to him for his height, you know, just shaped a personality that was generally undesirable. It could be that. But anyway, that's my opinion on him in a nutshell. Half the dudes out here getting women are short by internet standards. Yeah, I mean, women are short. Obsidian's like 5'7", and you know, so he's still what's her name from City High? 5'5" with brown eyes. You know, those girls are still looking up to him. So it's not like a. I've never known it to be a huge issue. Well, there was this one instance. By the way, I'm 6'0". There was this one instance where I was kicking it with a homie, and there was this chick that I seen, and I, you know, wanted to talk to her. So I go up to her. This was at a nightclub. And, you know, I sat next to her at like a bar stool, and it was one of those type of stools that kind of like a barbershop seat where it goes down a little bit. sat next to her. I was like, wait. And I looked. I was like, wait, are you taller than me, or did my seat go down too much? And she was like, no, it's likely that I'm taller than you. It's very possible. And she was talking about my friend. Let's just call him LP. And she was like, what's his name? I was like, LP. And I'm thinking like, man, I know I look better than that nigga. Yeah, I was a conceited little motherfucker. Anyway, I was like, I know I look better than that nigga. So I talked to her, and I tried to rub my game, but she really wanted to get to know LP. I was like, all right, well, let's dance for a bit, and then I'll introduce the two of you, right? And oh, by the way, LP was like 6'4", so he had the height, I had the looks. So, and then when I got off the stool and she got off the stool, I was like, holy shit! And I even said it. So she had to be like all of like 6'2" or something like that. But when you're 6'0", girls don't really just like you don't have to look up to them. The average height of females is like 5'5" or something like that. So I'm thinking like, holy shit, what the hell? And then everything just clicked. Like height is like number one priority to her. And she would rather look up to a dude than down. And what I say? LP? What I say his name was? I forget. But whatever name I get, he fit her description. He's somebody that, won't be the little nigga at her family reunion. So, yeah. But that's rare. That is extremely rare. Most chicks do not care if a dude is 5'7". They just don't. Little Klingon girl would constantly try to fight me in elementary school. He was on that shit. What the fuck? Yeah, like if you read through it, I mean, this is my interpretation of what happened, because he came at Danica like right off the bat for no fucking reason. And now Danica's an attractive woman, but it was deeper with Obsidian. And then once I seen that, I think she's like the same size as her husband, Eric. It all made sense. Like it all made sense. It's like, okay, because he stayed on this just like he does with Kimberly Nicole Foster's husband or fiance or whoever the fuck that nigga is. Like, just like he stayed talking about, like, it all comes down to what he got that I ain't got. Because in his mind, height is the only thing that matters to a woman. Just like that story I just told y'all. Did I say LB? What name did I give? What fake name did I give? Anyway, like when partner's like 6'4". Like nothing else mattered. It was, height was like the number one criteria, and there wasn't shit I could do about it. So he don't really understand that, for one, there's just a matter of right place, right time, right thing. But I'm pretty sure, a lot of other qualities that Danica could tell you about that her husband has that Obsidian don't. But he's incapable of seeing that. Oh, and then they got a thing for Crystal and Kerosene. It depends. If you are under 5'7", you will have issues. I used to be under 5'7". I mean, yes, I was significantly younger, but I do have to remind y'all that I was always the smallest kid in class. I was the youngest kid in class. I was always the smallest kid in class. And if a girl didn't like me, and many didn't, I the last thing I would think that it was about was my height. But it's the first and only thing with Obsidian, which is kind of put him in a very interesting category. What led him to the Fortress of Solitude? Nobody wanting to fuck him led him to the Fortress of Solitude. What do you mean? Like, people not wanting this company. You can't be an involuntary celibate in a country full of whores. People really need to stop throwing that word around. Well, I think that, like, if you refuse to do that, then, you know, if the only thing that you volunteer is to not sleep with whores, then I can see that. And then he joined the Legion of Doom, more like started it, but that's a whole nother story. King Pigs, I'm not saying Obsidian is an incel, but a lot of guys in that space always use height as an excuse. Even non-black dudes. Yeah, so Aaron Clary, he talks about his height. Trust, I haven't been 5'5", which is Aaron Clary's height, or 5'7", which is Obsidian's height, as an adult. So I can't pretend to understand their struggles. And nor am I going to bring up somebody like Tom Hanks or Little Bow Wow and say, look at them, you know, because I'm not going to compare a rich and famous person with a lay person. So I'm not saying, I will say that I have seen guys whose other qualities completely override their height, and whether those qualities are charisma, intelligence, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And even money. Obsidian has and always has, or Obsidian does and always has, lack those qualities as well. So, but these are things that can be improved upon, but you're not going to do that fucking harassing bitches and showing pictures of yourself next to their husbands. Like, what the fuck? Most Gen Z dudes who can see slang are the short rapper looking dudes, at least when it comes to black men and black women. Trust me, it's rare that, and probably because my height is very close to average. It's slightly above average, which is like 5'11" or 5'10". So I don't get compliments on being tall. Like, I don't. Unless I'm dealing with an Asian woman. But that's pretty much it. So I will say that I have friends of various heights, and it's, from what I've seen, it's not that important. I've lost attention to shorter dudes all the time. It's just not to women. I mean, even though they say, when you ask them, they say, and that's because, like, the short dude that they like is not right in front of them. And, you know, when they look at these, you know, pussy wet niggas on TV, they don't know how tall he is. And quite frankly, they don't care. Like, you know, they don't care how tall Michael B. Jordan is. You can't tell how tall they are, but even if you could, I don't think that that'll dry their shit up. It's disingenuous when y'all make these statements. These 3 or 4s are picky and harder to get than any women, to be fair. Talking about actual working 3 or 4s are harder to get? Or are you saying that this generation of women is harder to get than they were before? Absolutely. Absolutely. King Pixie has a woman. Who, Obsidian? Okay. Doesn't Chris Carrison have like 5 kids or something? Well, so does his woman. So I don't. That's not necessarily a deterrent. And once again, I don't think he wants the women. He just wants to be validated by the women. Women only talk that height stuff because they got it from TV. I mean, it's like a whole different thing. It's like a whole different thing when it's in your face, right? Take River TV. River TV is a cutie, and you may say like, yeah, I like that. I like those C cups. I like those double Danica Maries. You may say that until River TV is in your face talking that light skin talk, and you know, all of a sudden those small pokies start looking real nice. Yeah, I mean, what you say is different than, you know, when you have the alternative, like right there, and that's what my short homies, you know, that still slay, they know, like, yeah, these bros may say that they want to do that 6'5" until, you know, until the chemistry is right with you. One of the Passport Bros made a video proving black women don't care about height and mass. Yeah, I don't think it's just a black woman thing. I mean, height is one of those on paper things, and like on paper, yeah, you'll put that down. Like on paper, I'll put down the double Danica Maries. But I mean, like in actuality, you know, the chick, you know, is there, and you know, the chemistry is just like, oh shit, you don't even notice or care. If he has a body, they'll throw it at him for a night or more. Well, I mean, you know, Eric is a personal trainer, and you know, she throws it at him every night. Yeah, shout out to Danica Marie. But King Pits, it depends on the race of women. Okay. Actually, these chicks be caping for the camera. Yeah. It's kind of 50-50. If women these days perceive you as pursuing, they become very picky. Yeah. And I'm definitely going to talk about that in my video about Lucario on Wednesday. But yeah, and that's why it's really fruitless to online date, because you're pursuing, so you already lost footing, and they know that. So they're going to be picky. Yeah, but you're right. The circumstances do matter. It's laughable because I was a basketball player, and the guys I was cool with were literally on ESPN, and even they didn't get many compliments of height. It's not as important as women are making it out to be. There's a lot that women just throw out there because it's what they're thinking about at the time, or it's something that the person that they're with at present is lacking, but they still mess with them. For example, a woman is with a guy like myself, right? Let's just say if you were to interview one of my exes and she were to say something like, you know, I want a guy with, you know, the nicest shoes because I wear the same shoes and I don't give a shit, like for years on end. Um, and she might not like that. So when you interview her, she has that on her mind, like, oh, he has to have nice shoes, and then it triggers other guys out there, particularly the game type ninjas, that'll be like, oh yeah, you gotta have them shoes, and they go out and spend like $500 on a pair of fucking Jordans or some shit like that. It's like, okay, she's only thinking that because it's the thing that I lack that she's thinking about now. I think height get treated like tiers: 5, 5, 6, and 7. Low tier 5, 9, 10 is okay. 5, 9, 10, 11 is okay. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4 is good. 6 is really good. Yeah, I'm saying that with many women, it doesn't take high priority. PST. The video's PST. Yeah, I already put it up there, so I already put it on my channel, so you can go and like the video now. River TV is the height of women I'm dating now. I'm talking about titty size. So what I'm saying is that the guy that River TV either is dating or was dating, whoever's dating her, probably at one point in his life put on paper that he likes them double D's. But in practice, he sees her quality. That's what I'm saying. No, it's 10 a.m. PST. It's 10 a.m. PST. Hey, I gotta go, but I was watching Remnant Princess, excuse me. I was watching Remnant Princess, and she was going the fuck off on some single moms yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Oh shit, she doing it right now. Let me see. She was going the fuck off, and it was hilarious. And it was all, they was talking like, oh, British, English, and all right, she's live now, but StreamYard want to buffer, so I'm gonna let it go.
Bond subscriber finally caught a live.
Let it go.
I wanted to show some love from Detroit, Michigan. And thank you. But so the reason why I blame majority of single mother body when it comes to,
You're trying to make it a science thing, right? Thing is,
pardon?
there's cool. Makes sense. I hear it. But you see what you have to understand about men. right?
Everything they
They
said
will put a
before
lot of
went is
women in
bullshit.
situations that they don't.
Yeah, but StreamYard is acting up, so it's time to go. Let me see let's see. Dude is a legit 5'7", 5'8", but they got him listed 6 feet. Who? Obsidian? Reminds me of the WWE wrestlers. They inflate their heights because they have on boots. Michael B. Jordan isn't 5'8", especially since I've seen videos of him standing next to other actors. Yeah, isn't he like 5'10" or something like that? I mean, once again, it don't matter. I'm just saying, like, oh, speaking of standing next to other people, another thing that that really just eats at Obsidian's soul is Kevin Samuels never took a picture with him. I think that really just it has to trigger you, especially, and we're not talking about somebody who don't take pictures with people. Kevin Samuels take pictures with lots and lots of people, both friends and enemies, but not Obsidian, which really, really, really eat at his 5'7" soul. It really does. And Obsidian would also attribute something like that to his height. But I don't think it's that. When you think about the people that Kevin Samuels do take pictures with, typically, especially since he made it, these are people who are, yes, above 6 feet, but they're also educated, intelligent, and for the most part, handsome. So, like lead attorney Dennis Sperlin, MTR. Who else did he take a picture with? Like Saint and Sinner. So, like, with all that, why would you think it's a matter of height? He thinks about his height more than others thinks about his height. And rest in peace. That is some fucked up shit that Kevin Samuels, he met him and deliberately said, "Don't take pictures with me. No pictures." He is usually shorter than other dudes the same height as women in movies. I never paid attention to that. Hold on, I'll look it up. I mean, they're all short. Just so you know, like most actors are short. No, he's 6 foot. He's the same height as me. At least that's what they got him listed as. So the reason why I say most actors are short is because I just assume that if one is short, they all would have to be short so that one don't stick out. And the one that I know is short is Jean-Claude Van Damme. So I just assume that because he's short, the people that he would, and you never really like look at him as short. So the people he stand next to, like Sylvester Stallone and stuff, have to be just like a couple inches taller than him. But I think that's a trick in Hollywood. I think that, I think that maybe he's just short. What the hell is Yakisha? Black American women got got voted least desired women. Why would a man settle for her? Why would somebody vote on something like that? That's weird. Oh, Stallone is short too. All these guys are like 5'8". So yeah, Michael B is taller than the average actor. So it is what it is. I mean, most men on Earth are like 5'7". That's because Asia is on Earth. However, outside of there, it tends to move towards closer towards 5'10", 5'11". No way The Rock is 6'5". Well, it's possible. I mean, I don't see why that's impossible. I mean, even if he lied, he you're not gonna lie about 5 inches. He probably took maybe like 2, 3 at most off, which means he's a 6'2" dude. I always read stats of athletes, even wrestlers. I remember when The Rock was listed at 6 foot. Oh, really? Why are you a grown man watching WWE? I had to tell LAR that. What? Why are grown men watching WWE? There's some physical stars out there. I mean, I have my opinion, and they're always on an individual basis. Like the crushes that I had, the official GameChanger internet crushes were both black women, which is Janelle that lives in her van, and Kelly Stamps. Janelle decided that she wasn't worthy of the crush title. Kelly Stamps, congratulations to her. She's either engaged or soon to be married. Married women, I do not crush on married women or engaged women. So I'm looking for another. She will likely be black too. I do have a physical preference for black women. However, it is possible that if I came across a channel with a white woman who just so happened to have the features as well as the elegance and grace that I feel is crush worthy, then she would be my next crush. And if y'all have suggestions on YouTubers, don't put like Chloe Bailey up there. If y'all have suggestions on YouTubers that y'all think should be in consideration for crush, then let me know. Somebody said Ethiopian women look much better. Better than what? They're black. I include when I say I'm physically attracted to black, I include Ethiopian women in that category. Sunshine chick. What are you talking about? Sunshine. You talking about what? Layla Rashad? I like the appearance of Senegalese women. Yeah, well, my favorite is Ethiopia. I will say that, and Eritrea, but I will say that there is something amazing about a woman that can. French is a sexier language, especially when coming from a black mouth. Um, so yeah, maybe to help in that regard. Um, Senegalese women, but Ethiopian women are definitely the top. Yeah. All right. Pink Book Lesson says 70% of realtors closed 0 deals last year. Damn. That sucks. Cousin's a realtor, I think. But I think he does that on the side. He has a day job. Thank goodness for him. All right. There was a chick I showed doing yoga years ago. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, Kelly Stumps was my crush at that time, so that's probably why that didn't happen. So Bow Wow outed some chick. By the way, the crush has to be someone I never spoke to, so it can't be anybody like Melody or River TV or Chantel. Can't be anybody like that. It has to be somebody that I never spoke to. Oh, really? I have to check it out. Oh, okay. So yeah, anybody that calls himself goddess, really just put them in the unlikely crush category. Keep it a buck. Like 6. You know, I don't think she's married or anything, and I never spoke to her, but I definitely wouldn't crush on her. Self-proclaimed goddesses. Nope. It's not a. Humility is part of femininity. Humility is part of femininity. So to call yourself a goddess, like I mean, Angela Bassett, Felicia Rashad, do they ever aggrandize themselves like that? So that's probably why I don't even remember her. She call herself Goddess Sunshine. Fuck that. But no, I like them slim. Y'all know that. I like the full lips and the almond eyes, and I like with Kelly Stamp. I like her quirk nerdy behavior combined with um the feminine grace that she behaves in. You know, like the way she walks and shit like that. So it's a combination of things. Okay. No, if she's cute, she's cute. Yeah. Let's see. Adele Lane is a cute one. I ran across her in the music sector of YouTube. Okay. I don't listen to modern music. Call herself God is forehead because our forehead has to be growing with that statement. What? Well, I mean, yeah, any woman that calls herself goddess is on some ish. Call her goddess forehead. Oh, what, 6 got a forehead? I don't watch 6. I don't watch 6. It was, I don't know why. I mean, but I do remember like something she said years ago. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna fuck with this chick. And then when Danica and who I do fuck with, and her had D6 thing going on. I'm like, I just watched Danica when Danica's Danica. I don't care about her name. Why are you telling me the name of somebody? Oh, well, I'm not feeling like that. All right, I gotta go. Thanks to Cash App and Super Chats, managers, moderators, those listening silently, those participating in the chat. Hit the like button on your way out. This is GameChanger 00100. Game over. Peace.